And we are live.
Up out of there. Ain't nothing but against the party.
Oh shit.
You know what song this is?
I do not. It's not an Edubbs type of song, but
Sing it all the time.
I don't think we'll be seeing this on the Super Bowl. This song, Rich.
This is the Murf and Edubbs show on a Saturday morning, guys. See what I did there?
I'm not dancing.
You have no idea who that is, do you?
No clue.
No clue. That's Tupac, two of America's most wanted. Tupac and Snoop Dogg, two of America's most wanted sports guys. Who? The Murf and Edubbs show. What's up, dude? Saturday morning. You ready to talk some sports? Super Bowl weekend. We got Kevin Aubrey listening. We got some people listening in on here. And
Great.
We are ready to rock and roll. What's up, dude?
How you doing, Rich? I'm doing great. Happy Saturday, everyone. Look at that yellow thing in the sky. We haven't seen that. We've seen that a lot this week, but that's going to go downhill pretty fast this Tuesday. We'll get into the weather
5 inches on Monday to Tuesday. Edubbs told me so. Is that true?
I'll talk about that. But, it was a tough week. But, a couple of things pissed me off this week, Rich. And I just want to get it off my chest,
Go ahead, about man. You know what? You got the stage right now. Get it off your chest because I am locked and loaded. I'm going to talk a lot this podcast. So you can get whatever you want off your chest right now, partner. Go ahead.
Okay, so Monday, I'm coming home from work. I had to get a blood test. So I have a meeting scheduled at 3. I left the office about 1:45, get to the blood test place. What's that?
Are you pregnant?
No. I'm on Coumadin.
So you got to get a blood test. All right, go ahead. Anyway.
Yeah, Coumadin. So I have to get my blood tested every month for life now. So it's a thing. But I went to the blood test place, got the blood test, no big deal. And I'm going for a car wash. So I signed up for this unlimited car wash at Foam and Wash. It's great. Every night after work, I get my car washed. I wash my car more than I wash myself, Rich. I washed my car like twice this morning. I washed my car at Wappingers, and then I was up in Poughkeepsie. I got it washed again. I like having a clean car. So car 2, Eric nothing. Edubbs nothing on showers today. But I'll take a shower later. But so they have this unlimited wash plan. And I understand that the sales pitch is to hand out these cards and get people to join this plan because what it is you pay for like 2 car washes a month and then the rest are free basically. So it's kind of like money in the bank, So I'm online waiting. And this guy, he has the card, gives it to a customer, and the customer is like 20 minutes. Like, what can this guy be talking about to this guy? All it is Rich, there's 3 types of car washes. You pay for your monthly fee for each one's like $29, $30, or $49. So there's 3 different types of car washes, unlimited, like a buffet, all you could eat. And this guy is talking for 20 minutes. I don't understand what he's talking about to this guy. And meanwhile, here's the deal, Rich. If I get my car wash, I'm out of there. And I have a little secret. If you go through the cemetery, you can get to Jackson, Baxtertown, a shortcut right to the cemetery. But they close the gate at 2:30. So I get out of the car wash. It's 2:28. So either I go through Main Street in Fishkill, which is a hot shit mess every day with all the traffic. People parallel parking, do not know how to parallel park. Go in the parking lot if you can't parallel park. It's crazy. So I go through the cemetery and I see the gates still open and 2:30, I made it out of the gate. But, it's just crazy, Rich. What are these people talking about with this car wash thing? It's 3 car washes, unlimited car wash. What can they be talking about for 20 minutes with this guy?
All right. Now, can I just interject for 1 second? Because, I like to play devil's advocate with you here.
Of course.
What if I'm in front of you and I'm at the car wash? I'm definitely talking to them about something. I'm not talking about the car wash. I'm not bitching about something. Maybe the guy had a Mets hat on something. Or maybe they were talking sports. Or maybe they're talking about movies.
The guy talked to me. He was scanning my car yesterday. He goes, "Hey, we need another picture, right?" I said, "Yeah. Okay, have a good day." That was it. The line was extending to Route 9, Rich. The line can't go on Route 9. It's going to cause an accident.
I understand that. But you know what, though? Nobody is above a 30-second conversation. You know what I mean? So
this is 20. I don't care about a 30-second conversation, but 20 minutes? Literally 20 minutes.
20 minutes is a long time. That's a long time.
And you know what?
I could definitely be told I was guilty of that.
But Rich, there's no place to back up. You know that car wash on Route 9? There's no place to back up. So I have a meeting at 3:00 scheduled with my friends from India. It's kind of like 1 a.m. in India. Do you think these people want to be on the call with me at 1:00 a.m. their time? So I'm like, get me through this damn car wash already. Crazy.
India. You talk to people from India. Well, that's where you guys. That's like where a lot of your business is.
Yeah, I manage 2 people from India, so I'm their manager basically. So I got a staff
employees?
there. So what they do in India is a lot of the companies work American time. So we're starting at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're starting. I think it's like 6 o'clock at night already when they start. So they go home in the middle of the night. But that's the way of life over there. A lot of American companies have Indian presence, so they work different hours. So one of the guys that I manage, he actually goes running in the park at 3:45 in the morning. When he gets out of work, he goes running. But, it's well lit. There's not that much crime or anything. But that's, I guess it's like people working here at the graveyard shift, like at the Amazon building or something like that, which is another thing I want to talk about, Rich. There was an incident at the Amazon building. I guess it was in the news that somebody went in with a knife, stabbed somebody in the hand or something. I mean,
up here?
Yeah, and it was in the news the other day, about 2 weeks ago. But you look in the news, you're reading Facebook. Oh, I heard gunshots. I'm tired, people. Stop putting this crap out there. If you know the facts, put the facts out there. Don't say you heard gunshots. Don't say, oh, my son works there. He heard an explosion. There was no explosion. I mean, people put this shit on Facebook, and they have to realize, Rich, once you put something on Facebook, it lasts there forever. You can't take it away on social media. And that's where I want to get into my next topic is people on Facebook, right? I saw something the other day. So I go on these baseball trips, Rich, and stuff like that. So somebody put on, now you're from Queens, I'm from Queens, we know Queens. Somebody put on Facebook, I'm going to Citi Field. What's the closest hotel where I can walk to Citi Field to Citi Field from the hotel? And I got on there and I wrote the Q Motor Inn. Now, you know the Q Motor Inn, Rich?
Of course I do.
On Union Turnpike, right? My grandparents used to live around there. And I used to ask them as a kid, why is there a hotel here, Grandma and Grandpa, But do your homework. So the guy posted he was going to go to this hotel. So I never heard of the hotel. It wasn't a chain. So he puts the hotel name on Facebook, and it must have been in Flushing somewhere. And I look online, and the number one amenity for this hotel is free toilet paper. Now, if you see free toilet paper, what do? You run, basically. You say, where's the nearest Holiday Inn? And I'll take an Uber to Citi Field.
I'm going to have to say they probably never took the sign down from when toilet paper was like gold. If you had a roll of toilet paper, you may as well cash it in for a thing of gold. So maybe they never took the sign down.
And it gets better, Rich. Oh, I'm going to Yankee Stadium.
That's a disgusting place.
Yeah, there's a better one. I'm going to Yankee Stadium. How's the Best Western right down the block from Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, that's a crack house, dude. It has to be a crack house.
It is.
It's a den of prostitution and crack and heroin. That's gotta be what it is.
Exactly. And then one more thing on Facebook. I see all this stuff all the time. Do you know when ABC Pizza closes? People put on there. Now, when we were kids, Rich, and we wanted information, not only that, before the internet, in our 20s and stuff, if we wanted to know what time ABC Pizza closes, wouldn't we just get on the phone and call ABC Pizza?
Yeah, I would assume so,
right?
Yeah.
So people rely on the internet. So people are like saying 9, I think 10. It's like, stop answering these people. Just tell them to pick up the goddamn phone and make a call. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, Rich, if my house is burning down, am I going to put on Facebook, my house is on fire? I mean, some of these things never get answered, these posts and stuff like that, I really don't understand how people are so reliant on social media and what they believe on social media. I mean, how naive can you be as a country? I mean, I want you to comment on this, Rich.
People are reliant on People are reliant on social media because they really don't know the effects. Because a lot of these people that post all this crazy shit on social media, like they'll post it, they'll get their feedback, and then they're just on to the next thing. They'll just excuse me. I'm so sorry. I got what drives me nuts about social media. This drives me crazy about social media. The next, and listen, these are all tragedies. I'm not taking anything away from any type of tragedy, but
sure.
Every tragedy is like, we're praying for Boston. We're praying for the Ukraine. We're praying for Israel. We're praying for this one. We're putting our flags up on our Facebook. And
we're praying for Hawaii.
Our screen is black for Black Lives Matter. Or
we're praying for Maui. We're praying for Alaska. We're praying for Fishkill. Yep.
That is unbelievable. That's a sickness, I think, to people who really need the gratification of somebody saying, oh my God, you care too? I'm liking your post. Now, listen, we're all victims. Oh, not victims. We're all, I guess we all use social media for a different purpose. Like me, whenever I have any free time, you always see my stupid face all over Facebook saying, hey, come watch some Murf and Edubbs. Hey, me and Josh are doing a shoot in the breeze. Hey, keep talking. It's like, That's what social media is for. My silly, stupid videos. You do your silly videos. We do all our stuff for social media because people see it. But then there's the people that really take it crazy. And it's like, what the hell is going on, man? It's like, and that's their lives because they don't have any relevancy in their own lives, I think, behind closed doors. So most of the times it's like you see these people that are like these social justice warriors, like, they're behind a keyboard and they're yelling and screaming about something that pisses them off. Most of those guys, if you walk up to them in a bar and you have a conversation with them, they're not going to tell you what's really bothering them. They're just going to say, yeah, it's going to go and they're going to conform with society, right. And that's getting a lot of people, and that's getting a lot of people in trouble these days. I know not to go off on a tangent. You asked me for my opinion and I'm giving it to you. Mm-hmm. That's what's wrong with a lot. Like people can say whatever they want. It's fine. It's free speech. But once you get into the whole social media aspect of it, yeah, it's free speech as well. But you also have to realize that you say something on the internet, you say it a text or an email or a social media post, it's there. And people have the right to say, yo, I disagree with you. And then start yelling. You can't run from something like that. If somebody wants to confront you personally, if you say something that they don't like, it's like, you know what? So let's talk about it. But that's the thing. Then they'll disappear under another name and this, that, and the other thing. How about you have something on social media like where you have to be verified your name? You can be verified anything. Who cares? Verified, this is who you are. Like, eat my balls 465 is definitely Rob so-and-so from Idaho. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to eat your balls. No, thank you, Rich. No, thanks.
I'm just saying, like, you could come in and have 9 different, Twitter accounts, rile people up, and then boom, you're out of there. And it's like all of a sudden, it's like 1,000 people that take that shit seriously and they're all pissed off and you're on to the next thing. I don't know. Social media.
It started during COVID or maybe before. It's called cowards behind keyboards, Rich. And I'm not blaming one side or the other. It's both sides that are doing it. But going back to this, like somebody said, their basement was flooded. What should they do? I mean, why would you wait for an answer on Facebook when you can actually call a plumber or something like that has 24-hour service and actually beat your house faster than somebody typing on a keyboard that never had a flooded basement before and tell you.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I don't know if you could see the chat going on right now with Kevin Aubrey is in the chat. We're going to talk about his podcast later. He's got a pretty cool podcast to it. I think I might go on tonight. But he's saying right now, he's talking about, it says you open your mouth, you open yourself to scrutiny. It's a life lesson. But if you can handle that scrutiny, like you should be able to say what you want, but also be able to handle the repercussions of what someone's going to say back to you.
Well, not only that, then there's the human resources end of it. If you're working for a corporation like I do, a publicly traded company, I can't talk about work on podcasts because if I get in trouble, I sign my life away. Basically, that's one of the things we do once every year. So that's why I kind of like shy away from the political stuff and the religion stuff. And like even somebody at work said, you make a good choice. Just talk sports and food, and you'll be fine and stuff like that. But
exactly. Now we could keep this sports related right now because who I think is going through a firestorm of craziness right now, and he's playing one of the biggest games of his lifetime tomorrow. Is Pat Mahomes. Is why does Pat Mahomes have to deal with all the social media crap around Super Bowl time? And it's not even him. Last year it was his brother and his wife. This year his dad gets pulled over and is arrested for drunk driving. It's like you look at this kid and he's trying to be a good kid. He's getting focused for the game. It's like we'll talk about our predictions later, but it's always something peripheral with that kid. It's never like Mahomes was caught drunk driving. It's always, or it's never he didn't bitch about he doesn't tip. I'm sure he tips, but his wife is all over social media getting blasted for not tipping. And he's probably like, yo, babe, what are you doing? You got to give these people tips. And then my brother is like, what are you doing dancing naked on top of a trash can or something? Like, what are you doing, bro? I'm Pat Mahomes. Like, I understand, but you also have to realize your limitations when you're dealing with somebody who right now probably doesn't want all that scrutiny on him because I truly think like he gets it all from peripheral stuff. He doesn't want all that. He doesn't want all that attention. You know what I mean? Like, look at the minute he took his shirt off in the locker room last week, and in that mid, and it looks like he's got a little bit of a belly, and all of a sudden, bang! There's thousands of pictures. Pat Mahomes is putting on weight, and he had to respond to that. He's like, "Are you guys kidding me? This is what I have to respond to." So, I mean, social media is a blessing and a disaster at the same time.
So there's this other app. It's called Nextdoor. I don't know if you ever heard of it, Nextdoor.
No.
So Nextdoor is like a local app. There's people in my community that go on it. It's local. Like I see stuff from Old Hopewell Road, Fishkill, all over. So sometimes I'll get notifications on my phone. It says, "What just happened? Why are there police chasing 6 cars in East Fishkill?" So I'll go on it. And I'll look, oh, wait, this is from 18 hours ago. Like, it's just crazy. So if you want to know why all these emergencies are happening, I see it all the time. Why is there a police officer at ShopRite? Why is there an ambulance at Antonella's? Why is this? Why is that? If you want to know, just become a dispatcher. You'll get all the information right then and there.
Yeah. But you know what, though? Just to kind of like, to kind of, to combat like kind of what you said, or to, to talk about your saying is, I think there's an app, and I don't really have it, but I think in the city it's good to have. It's called Citizens app. Have you ever seen it? You know what it is?
No, I haven't seen that.
I don't have it necessarily, but I always see it on the news, and I know people that have it. It's basically an app. If like crime is happening in your neighborhood, there's cameras, and it'll pick up where the crime is going in real time. And like you'll always see like a shooting in Brooklyn, like in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn or something, and it picked up on Citizen app. It's like, so if you're like a person in that community that where that crazy shit happens all the time, or robberies or rapes or happen, like you're going to want to steer clear from that area. You know what I mean? Because
of course.
If the shooting happened 5 minutes ago on Nostrand Avenue and you live a block away from there, it's like, you're not going to want to, you want to kind of maneuver your way home because this guy's still running around there. It could have been a gang incident. It could have been a rape. It could have been anything. And you want to kind of know that stuff when you live in this community.
Understood. But it's just like, I mean, there's some type of privacy involved. I mean, I know somebody whose spouse was in a really bad car accident recently. And, I very cordial to the person, saying my prayers, but don't need to get into details because kind of like want to have that person's privacy. Like if somebody on Facebook says, oh, there was an ambulance at ShopRite. Why? Oh, because somebody's having a heart attack. And yesterday somebody got killed on Route 9, right in Merritt. They got killed, but run over by a car. I mean,
what? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was all over social media yesterday morning. And somebody goes, oh, guy dead, or that's really, really cool to put that guy dead. It's like, but it's just like stuff like that, Rich. I mean, if you want to find out and you want to be nosy about that, be a dispatcher. You'll find out.
But you know what it is also, Eric? It's also this day and age that we live in where everybody wants to get that story out first. It even trickles down to sports, like with John Heyman when he got in trouble for when he, stuff that he said with the Aaron Judge stuff or whatever. It's like it even gets down to a point where you have to be that first person to relay the information. And that's sometimes, and a lot of times it gets people in a lot of trouble because they're parlaying the wrong information to people.
Well, it happened.
The wrong information just becomes a cancer or a disease and it spreads. And then there's just lies. And it's like, you don't know what the hell's really going on.
Yeah, it happened with the Giant Sue, Susie Cluster, I think her name. She's a reporter for the San Francisco, one of the newspapers. She said that Aaron Judge signed with the Giants. So she was the first to put it out there that he's signing with the Giants. So, I think that's what it is. Everyone wants to get the first story, but 95% of the time, the story's wrong, Rich.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Well, we found that out, the hard way with a lot of these things, you know what I mean? And John Heyman, I mean, the guy, again, I always bring that up. It's like, if you're going to be somebody that's, a good, good at what you do, is like, you have to stand tall and you have to report the facts. You can't report stuff because it's speculation.
Rich,
just because maybe I'll be the first one to see it, or whatever.
I think we're a nation of snowflakes, Rich, because like even like on the Ring doorbell, you'll see messages like stuff that happens in the neighborhood, and it tells you like how many miles away the person is. Like in the summer, you'll hear, "Hey, did anybody hear those loud booms?" Well, yeah, the Renegades are having fireworks. So it's like, it's just like every little thing people get scared about nowadays, Rich. It seems like, we can't go to school in the snow because there's like a quarter of an inch of snow on the ground, but we can't go to school. And I understand, with buses and stuff like that, but it just like trickles down to like, I think we're very soft as a nation right now. And I'm not getting into politics, but it's just the same thing. Like somebody posted a picture of an animal walking on their property. And I know my green screen is acting up on me, Rich. I don't know what's happening with the green screen today.
Yeah,
but somebody put a video of an animal walking their property and it looked like an armadillo. So I said, it's an armadillo. Now, okay. Well, wow. Cool. So an armadillo and Fishkill, great. All right.
Was it really an armadillo in Fishkill or no?
It looked like an armadillo on the guy's Ring doorbell. People were putting armadillo, and the guy actually believed them. So, like I said, I think we're pretty naive as a nation. I don't know what it is, but social media definitely rotting the brain. Go do a puzzle, get your brain cells back, or something like that.
That's what we're doing in the house too. We just finished one a couple of weeks ago. We're getting another one. We just put a puzzle on the table in the living room and come in here and there, like in the channel, sit down, and we just, put it together. And when it's done, paint it on, I don't know what we're going to do with it, but it's just more of like the accomplishment of just like, actually sitting there putting the puzzle together, So that's something we've taken on as a family,
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think I want to learn Spanish this year with Jody. So we're gonna, she's been down for the count, and I just want to give her a shout out, Rich, because it's been 7 weeks of surgery right now, and she'll be walking within 3 more weeks on her own. So we're still not there yet, but she appreciated everything I did, and why not? I'm her husband. I'm supposed to do this stuff. But a big box came the other day. It was from Goldbelly. I opened it up, and it was my favorite pizza from Detroit style pizza from this place, Buddy's, that Ben and I went to a couple of years ago in the worst part of Detroit. Security guard watching the car, but three pies came on Tuesday. To my surprise, we had that for dinner, and then Thursday another box comes, and it was from this place in Buffalo called Watson's Chocolate. And you ever hear of sponge candy, Rich?
No.
Sponge candy is pretty good. You can get it at Adams, but you got to get it in Buffalo. It's like a honeycomb with like chocolate on it, and it melts in your mouth. It's really good. The Adams version's not that great, but you got to go to Buffalo. So my wife hasn't taken a step since December 21st, but she bought me a lot of food from the Great Lakes region this week. So kudos to her.
Awesome. Cool, man. All right, good.
Yeah, so I want to ask you, Rich. Now, my wife's birthday's tomorrow. I usually post it on social media odds on what I'm eating for the Super Bowl. Of course, hummus gets a 1 million to 1 because I don't think hummus is a man's food for Super Bowl, Rich. When I think of hummus, I think running down 47th Street in Times Square singing show tunes. That's what I think about hummus. So hummus is always low, but I couldn't put that out.
Get into the psychology behind that comment if you really want to, but we'll move on.
I couldn't really put any odds out because it's her birthday and it's her pick tomorrow what she wants to eat. So so haven't
let me just tell you something right now. Now, I know you and your wife for a very long time.
Of course.
I know your lovely wife, Jody. And I know for a fact that your lovely wife, Jody, knows what a big football fan.
Of course.
I'm assuming that Manny was definitely going to have to come into play where you are going to be on the winning side of it because she loves you. And Super Bowl Sunday is kind of like, I don't know, whatever. It's like the man-eating day. We hang out, we eat, no matter what team is in the, there's no Buccaneers, there's no Jets. There'll never be a Jets. But anyway, but I still watch the Super Bowl every year because I like the, So I'm sure she's going to take into consideration your wants and needs for that as well. But it is her birthday, and you are going to take hers into consideration.
Well, yeah, I got a nice.
Are you guys? Is it just going to be the two of you? Is Ben coming back? How are you guys watching?
Well, that's the great thing. Ben and I always have a tradition, and he will be coming home maybe tonight, but he will definitely be there tomorrow for his mom's birthday and to watch the Super Bowl with his dad. And he doesn't have class till the afternoon on Monday, so he will sleep over. No worry of him driving home with all the drunks on the road.
Now, does he have to sleep in a sleeping bag on your floor in your bedroom because you took over his room as your podcast room?
No, I just moved the stuff out. I actually work up here too, because Jody has to work on the dining room table right now because of her legs.
Do not get rid of any of that Met stuff on those walls because I will call him and let him know.
Hold on.
That's why you got the green screen up because you don't want to show me that you took the Met stuff down.
No, behind me is his bed. It's not even made since the last time he was here. So we have
that's a nice
Tom
couch.
Seaver.
Make him sleep on the couch.
No, he'll sleep up here. He's got to make his bed though if he wants.
I would sleep there too. It's got a nice fireplace. It's got I would sleep there too.
So, Rich, ready? Tom Seaver, Darryl Strawberry, Francisco Lindor, Jacob deGrom, Pete Alonso, Keith Hernandez, and it goes on and on and on. So that's what I have to deal with when I'm looking at work.
We are definitely we're going to talk about a couple of little stories here and there too, but we are definitely I am so incredibly angry at the Mets organization right now. So we'll get into the Mets. I don't know, football first or baseball.
So I bought one of these things, Rich. I bought one of these things for the holidays for myself. It's a tidbit, and it's like the old scrolling thing you saw in the bars and stuff with the scores and the weather. So nice. At least I don't have to look at the Mets stuff. I can look at this thing when I'm working and stuff. So
that's fine. That's fine.
So Rich, what are you eating tomorrow?
Super Bowl food. So you haven't made a decision yet.
No decision yet. I'm happy getting a dish from Leo's, Antonella's, Vesuvio's, and Newberg. I'm happy with that. I'm happy getting maybe hibachi. I don't care, Rich. It doesn't bother me. Got a nice birthday cake coming from Tiramisu. Ordered the cake over there, so it should be a nice birthday. And I want to tell you, in 2027, do you know what date the Super Bowl's on?
No, on your birthday?
No, it's on Valentine's Day. Yeah. If the Super Bowl is on my birthday, Rich, we're having trouble because that's when usually the Hall of Fame game falls on my birthday. But Valentine's Day 2027 is when the Super Bowl, and that's going to cause a lot of lawyers, I think, right?
I don't know, man. Really, Valentine's Day I think Valentine's Day is irrelevant.
Yeah. I call it a Hallmark holiday, right? That's all it
You didn't
is.
expect me to say that, did you?
You always talk about that other holiday in March where I can get a nice steak.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows about that day. I mean, it's March 15th. It's steak and, the other best thing in life for men. Steak and
Okay,
another
so-
thing.
so-
You guys can put two and two together.
So March 15th, we got to do basketball on March 16th, Rich. We got 7 games to call that day over at the rec. So just be careful with the March 15th.
I better watch how much steak I eat the night before.
Well, watch your protein intake.
No, my wife better watch her protein. I can't. Hey, listen, that was wide open. I had to say it.
Hey, it was a volleyball thing, Rich. I put it up for you and you spiked it, right?
Tomorrow, like I said, just going into I want to tell you what I'm doing for Super Bowl for food tomorrow. Today, actually, as a matter of fact, since yesterday, there's been Polish water dough, I think Jack calls it, fermenting in some cases up there. Jack tonight and since tomorrow is going to whip up about 6 or 7 of like chicken pizza, penne alla vodka pizza, balsamic vinegar, baba pizza. He's going to make about 6 or 7 pizzas. He's making pretzels from scratch.
Oh, wow.
I think he's going to make some garlic bread. I think he's possibly going to make, we're going to do some wings. So the preparation for that is going to start tonight. So I think him and my wife are going to be cooking for the Super Bowl. And Jack loves, you know what? Let me tell you something. Let me gloat on this kid for a minute since I brought up his cooking, okay? He's going to be cooking all day for the Super Bowl. I dropped him off this morning at 6:45 in the morning up at Bosie's. Why? Because he's in Skills USA. He's the vice president of the entire thing. He's the president of his class and vice president of Skills Trade. Competition today. They're going over to, I think the one over in Orange or Ulster County, where all the trades are going to compete in a competition. Jack's competition is he has to present and make a Cobb salad, I think, or a chef salad. So it's all about the presentation and speed. So Jack went up there. There's going to be a couple other people in his, in his competition, and we're going to see how he does. It's his first one. This is stuff that's going to be building for him, where he's going to be able to get scholarships and grants. And he just takes this cooking thing like to the next level, and he's going to be up there all day with his team. He's got HVAC, electricians, carpentry. Duchess does a great job up there. And this whole competition for Skills USA it's all for all the trades. And culinary is up there too. And Jack's competing, him and another kid for his school, just like going to a track meet or a baseball game or a football game, for your kid. Jack's up there competing, man, behind closed doors up in Ulster Bosie's. And this is his first competition. See how he does. I'm super duper proud of him, like I always say.
What are they doing this competition for, Rich? Is there scholarships or something like that? Or
if you look up, I could explain it. It's a long it's called Skills USA. So Skills USA is something that they raise money for like scholarships and funds and grants for these kids to like go on to get jobs, job placement. For everybody, it's a trade thing. So it's not limited to just one. It's not just culinary. It's like I said, it's HVAC, carpentry. Like Bosie's teaches everything. And if you get involved in this skills and this trade skills, it's like they get you jobs afterwards and they give you scholarships and stuff like that. So it's going to allow him to, and he goes to, he's got to go to meetings because he's, like he says, he's part of I guess the, president and vice president, so he's got to go and have meetings and how they're going to disperse funds and stuff like that. So it's it's pretty cool for him to have to do that, So yeah, and then he's going to come back here and he's going to cook for a day and a half for us for Super Bowl tomorrow.
Sounds like a lot of carbs in the Murf household tomorrow. You guys will have a good night's sleep after the Super Bowl.
Everything is, you know what, Eric? Nothing's been sitting on the shelf for like a week, like the bread or whatever. It's like everything he goes right from oven to table, stuff, whatever it is, oven to table. And I think there's a big, there's definitely a positive to that because I'm having a hard time ingesting gluten, whatever. But when Jack makes it from his dough, I don't have as much. Like I'll eat pizza from a store and it'll kind of hurt my stomach the next day. But if he makes pizza and everything's fresh, like I really don't feel it because everything's fresh and from scratch, So I think
yesterday yesterday was National Pizza Day. So I had Antonella's for lunch. It was actually pizza and bagel day yesterday. So, I told you that my DNA had some Italian in it. So I am a Jew-Italian. So yesterday was the celebration for us Jew-Italians and stuff. So
why do the Italians got to take a day away from the Jews? I'm sure the Jews had the bagel day first before pizza.
But
why they got to take it away? Why can't tomorrow be pizza day?
But Rich, the Italians and the Jews go hand in hand, basically. So pretty much we have similar similar body language and stuff like that. And, we were the ones that ruled the Lower East Side of Manhattan and stuff before you guys showed up.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that.
And
So, all right, listen.
I'll have the history of corned beef, how that came into effect for St. Patrick's Day. It has nothing to do with Ireland, Rich.
All right, so we'll definitely talk about that. I want to talk about, like I said, I just want to talk about real quick. Kevin Aubrey, he's listening right now. He's got a podcast right now with his buddies. It's called the Take It Deep Show or Take It Deep podcast. Yo, these guys are funny, man. They break each other's balls. They talk about everything under the sun. They talk about music. They talk about everything. They have a lot of they're all three different personalities, and it's really cool, man. They had a football throwing contest, and they really take their inner arguments and stuff like that. They take it to the air and they kind of hash it out, and they break each other's balls. And I don't know if it's even real sometimes. I know it's him and his boys, but it's called the Take It Deep Show. Listen to these guys, man. I might go on with Kevin later on. I got to see what's going on. If they're cooking later, they're going to be on tonight. It's on. I think they're on Facebook and YouTube. I'm pretty sure they're on Facebook. So if you want to look it up, it's called the TID.
I think it pops up on my Facebook. I did see the football thing where they were throwing the football.
They're funny,
in the snow or something like that at Carmel.
Yeah.
Is it Carmel High School or something? But always pops up at the wrong time. So maybe I'll have to stream it and watch it.
Yeah, take a look at it, bro. Like I said, they're having their show later. I might call in later on and see what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure on that show. I'm sure on that show, they refer to the Washington football team as the Redskins, not the Commanders, correct?
Oh, you're damn right. Kevin's a hardcore Redskins fan.
I know, that's why I said it.
Kevin is a hardcore Redskins fan.
That's why I said it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Long-suffering Redskin fan, right?
All right, so listen, this is a sports show, right? We got to start talking about sports here. I know you had a Dennis Rodman story. Is that a quick story? Or
yeah, it's a quick story. So we see with the NBA, and my green screen's out of control. We see in the NBA the load management type of thing. So Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce have a podcast, and they were talking about Dennis Rodman back in the day. So back in the day, a lot of these teams had the back-to-back games. It's prevalent in the NBA now. We see a lot of back-to-back games. And guys taking off and stuff. And there's new rules from Adam Silver that the players have to play at least 65 games. So there's some kind of rule out there. But Dennis Rodman back in the day, here's how he would deal with a back-to-back. He'd play the game, probably play about 42 minutes out of the 48 minutes, whatever. And after that, he'd work out. He'd be on the treadmill wearing work boots on the treadmill, running with work boots on. And then the next day, Rich, he'd be playing again for 42 minutes. So that's how Dennis Rodman handled it. Now, here's why it's not happening nowadays. And I really think this is the reason why. It's not the players, it's the investment. It's the teams have all these money invested in the players, and team doctors won't allow it where a guy can go play 45 minutes and go work out afterwards. So it's the team doctors that won't allow it anymore. Whereas back in the day, the team doctors didn't give a crap what the players did. But I thought it was pretty interesting because we never heard the complaining back then with the back-to-back days and stuff. And, I have to give LeBron and Anthony Davis credit. They came into Madison Square Garden last week and just trashed the Knicks on Saturday night. I know the Knicks are having some trouble lately. They made some deals and stuff like that. But getting back to the Lakers, they won that in-season championship and they've been crap ever since. The Indiana Pacers made that tournament. They've been crap on it ever since. There was no really big trades, and there was a rumor that LeBron was going to get traded, but I don't think that would ever happen, right? No.
Unless he really wants it. I mean, I don't know. If he really wants to get traded, he'll be traded. He'll walk into the office and just say trade.
I just thought it was ironic because the Nets went to Philadelphia last Saturday, and the 76ers had some guys out, and the Nets won in there and won by like 20 points. The same happened with the Knicks this week with Dallas. The Knicks had 8 players playing. I understand it was the trade deadline. There were some pieces moving and stuff like that. But Dallas came in and trounced the Knicks. And again, it happened last night. I'm trying to think of the game. I think it was Houston. I forget who Houston was playing, but or Atlanta. It was Atlanta last night. Atlanta won the same way. They came into Philadelphia maybe, and they trounced the Sixers. So it's happening a lot lately. I understand it's February.
Before you move on to another team, I want to ask you a quick question. You just mentioned Dallas. How fat do you think Luka is going to get until it starts to affect the way he plays? Because he keeps getting fatter, but he keeps playing amazing. Like, how much more weight can he gain before it starts to affect the way he plays?
Well, didn't somebody say eat a salad? And then he went out the next night and scored 73 points, Rich.
That's the point they're making, dude. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to eat everything. You know what? I might be 350 pounds, but you know what? I'm still going to score 70.
Yeah, and then so back-to-back days, Garnett came to Brooklyn, and then Kyrie came back to Brooklyn. And I want to hear your opinion on this. What's with these videos now? It seems like when somebody leaves a team and comes home, they always have to show these videos. And you know what? These guys are getting booed when they get introduced. Why are they showing these videos?
Okay, now this is what I think it is. Now, if you think about it, I'm not for it at all. I think it's ridiculous. I really, really do think it's ridiculous. I mean, when you think of it, like, how about, listen, you left the team.
Right.
You left. That's fine. Either whether you got traded or
right.
It doesn't even matter. Like, how about even like Derek Jeter was with a team his entire career. Okay, he retires. He comes back to Yankee Stadium the next year. Have a tribute video for him. I don't even think, like, if you're talking about tribute videos, I didn't see the podcast, but I don't even think Kevin Garnett was probably like, he wouldn't even want a tribute video.
No,
I don't. No. I think the way these tribute videos work is, let's take the Nets, for instance, okay?
Yep.
I think the Nets wanted to give Kevin.
They had a video for Durant the other night. And Kyrie.
Now, I think the brass and whoever said the suits, who was running everything, says, you know what, though? You really want to deal with Kyrie if we don't give him one too? It's like, we really want to deal with that kind of press.
They had one for James Harden too last year. They had one for Harden. But yeah, I understand, definitely.
And it's kind of like we don't want to do this, but now it's not even a matter of what the team wanted to do. It's how they're going to be looked upon in the media.
Because he'll go on
Twitter.
Do you
really think the Nets wanted to give Kyrie Irving a video? Even
no, because he'll go on X or Twitter, or whatever, and he'll mouth off that, where's my video and stuff like that. And then the Nets get bad PR, basically.
Yeah. You know who deserves tribute? You want to have a tribute video? Why don't you attribute the people, like, how about you could have a tribute to Michael Jordan every night. You could have a tribute to Shaquille O'Neal every night. Go whatever city you're in. You're in New York, have a tribute video to, like, Patrick Ewing, whatever. But it's kind of, oh God, I was talking about this the other day, Eric.
Let me ask you something though. If when Guilherme comes back, he was signed with the Braves, free agent. So you think Guilherme will get a video at Citi Field this summer?
Oh my God, yes, because he's gonna come back, and then they're gonna. I don't know. Yeah, no, he probably will. Listen, he made about 4 or 5 really good, spectacular plays at, like, when he played. No, he doesn't deserve one. He probably will, though. No, but I mean, who at this moment, like, you could think of Yankees, because they just teams that deserve it. Like, it's almost like if you're in the Hall of Fame, you deserve a tribute video.
Oh, it's coming though. Harrison Bader played with the Yankees. Harrison Bader, Yankee last year, Met this year. When Bader comes back to the Bronx, they're going to give him a video at Yankee Stadium. He did. He did hit some home runs in the playoffs.
I was just thinking about Harrison Bader the other day for a second, because I always thought that Brandon Nimmo was just like, he's a good player. You know what I mean? And they were talking the other day on the radio about how Nimmo should be the leader of this team. He should be the captain. He should be this, that, and the other thing. First off, it doesn't matter if you're not the best player of the team, but I don't think Nimmo is the top 5 best players on that team. Now, if you're the guy that wants to be the captain, you lost your position to a guy from the Yankees who's a really good center fielder. So you want this guy to be the leader of the team. Now, he's a nice player. He's good. But you know what, though? Move over to left field, because Harrison Bader's here. Now, Harrison Bader, I think he might be better than Brandon Nimmo.
Exactly. Sorry, I had to go downstairs to the brick wall. I had to leave my fireplace was on fire, so I put on Facebook how to put out the fire. So I'm actually downstairs right now behind these bricks. So if you see these bricks going up in flames, but I think I'm safe now. But yeah, it's crazy, Rich, with all these videos. I'm telling you, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's not a good look.
No. I don't know if they do it in the NFL. I don't know. Did Brady go? Well, maybe when Brady went back to New England, they did for him. I don't know.
I don't know if I remember. I think I guess they do.
Rich,
I mean,
just give me the kiss cam. Let the kiss cam where the guy's wife goes to the bathroom and there's an empty seat and a nice girl sitting in the other seat on the other, and the guy's kissing the other girl and the wife comes back. Just give me that, basically.
And you know what? You just really made a great point about the kiss cam, because I'm sure you'll agree with me on this point, is because why do we even need a kiss cam? Now, listen, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you know what it is? Because it's the generation that needs constant stimulation. Now, let's go back to, like, I know me and you like to listen to baseball on the radio, because I just love the feel. So now when you listen to a baseball game, like in say 1987 or 1985 on the radio, it's kind of like, all right, here's the pitch. And, every once in a while, they'll talk about what's going on, but whatever the monotone is, like if something really good happens, they get excited. Now it's like, you have to have 3 guys there talking about the the OPS and talking about if he pitches at night, with the sun out on one side, then you have A-Rod chiming in, and it's like it's constant stimulation to a point where sometimes I think it's corny. You know what I mean?
I like the dead air on the radio broadcast, but you don't get that
I don't mind it.
Yep. And they talk about other stuff too, Rich. They talk about, we had the nice slice of pizza in downtown Chicago today and stuff. But
that stuff's fun. You know what I mean, Eric? But that stuff is kind of fine. Like that stuff I'm okay with, but don't reach. Like even the kiss cam is reaching a little bit because you're still keeping like the fans engaged. The fans are engaged on the game. They don't want to see two people getting caught kissing in the upper decks, or they don't. Or maybe the seventh inning, whatever you want to do, or you want to watch the sausages race,
or Billy Joel, the piano man. They play at City Field.
That's cool.
Cotton Eye Joe at Yankee Stadium.
You know what? It's like you got that
Stadium.
Sweet Caroline. That kind of stuff is cool, but when you start reaching is right, but the constant stimulation, I think that's a problem. I just because when it's to a point where sometimes where you have to be, it's corny to a point. Like the kiss cam is corny, or they have to bring up, whatever. Like even the Taylor Swift stuff is kind of cool to me. Bring it to that. I'm okay with all the Taylor Swift stuff now.
I do think it's
relevant
cool.
information.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of cool when you have 50,000 people singing Piano Man, or 50,000 people singing Mr. Brightside. I think it's pretty cool. But I love these European football games where they sing John Denver songs, Country Road or something like that. I love that when you have a bunch of these Germans singing that song.
Yo, let me just tell you something right now. We're not going to talk about this until 2026, but our city is going to be not only overrun.
What you talking about?
You think the migrants are going to be a problem? There is going to be people coming, spending enormous money in this city in 2026. Because as much as we Americans think that we are the shit and the Super Bowl is the shit, and we think that it's the most watched thing ever, don't even come close to the amount of eyes that are going to be in the United States for that World Cup, dude. Do not sleep on what's going to happen in this country, because it's going to be overrun and dollars are going to be flying around. Why do you think MetLife Stadium? What if they're playing this game in the World Cup in MetLife Stadium and the best player in the entire world gets turf toe because the turf sucks? So what's going to happen is do these people over there know that people hurt themselves at MetLife Stadium on a weekly basis?
Guaranteed MetLife Stadium. Guaranteed MetLife Stadium goes grass for this. I guarantee you.
That's my point. Bam. They're going to have to make a stipulation where the Jets and the Giants are going to get a better field, because that's where Eric, you read my mind. That's awesome, because that's exactly where I'm going, because it's the most watched spectator sport in the entire world. I don't care how much you love your perspective sport. It's the most watched sport in the entire world, hands down. And do you think that these crazy people in, say, like Russia, Germany, Spain, wherever, want to see their star go down in America? They will be burning our flags. They will be burning Jet flags and Giant flags over in Spain or wherever Messi's from. Like if he gets, this is going to be a big deal. And I think you're 100% right. The Jets and the Giants are going to get a better surface to play on because of this.
Yeah, and the biggest event at MetLife, it wasn't the Super Bowl, it was the Taylor Swift concerts this past summer. Yep. So I was in southern New Jersey, Rich, and I saw warnings on signs, Taylor Swift, Meadowlands, find alternate route. So you can imagine what that did. Can you imagine what this is going to do in 2026, especially having the final here? I'm not going to be anywhere near MetLife Stadium. I'm not a soccer fan. Don't want to be there. I've been to the World Cup. I seen a game the last time it was here. Don't ask me why, but yeah, I don't care. But I know it's going to bring in a lot of money to this.
Eric,
to this.
Let me tell you something. Rich,
there's going to be people staying in hotels up here, Rich.
What I was just going to say to you. I personally, listen. I know I'm not the first person to think of this, but whatever week that game is, rent your house out to a family. Right. And pay your mortgage for 3 months for a week. And you just go on a vacation. I was going to bring that up to my wife. There is going to be people that are going to want to stay as far as Albany up here. Like there is going to be people that I have a pool. There would definitely be a family come from Spain or let's see, wherever the team is playing to stay in my house for a week. They're probably for like $6 or $7 grand.
Yep. Yeah.
Could
Rich,
you
I'd
imagine
like
if you could
to,
get your hands? Could you imagine, Eric, right now? If I could have anything right now that would make me money right now,
Yep.
I don't know any stocks that are good. I don't know. If I could have one thing right now that you could give me right now is a midfield, 20 rows off the field seat to the World Cup. That thing, I swear, will go for $100,000 in 2026. People will pay enormous amounts of money for that ticket. That right now, if you have your hands on that ticket, you are sitting on an enormous amount of money. And I think people should really think about if you get a family that comes from like, rent out your house for like an Airbnb, and you could probably pay 2 months mortgage.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it, Rich. I'm going to pop the champagne in 2 months. My house will be paid off.
You know what though? Then you know what? Then you and Jody, you take
Yep.
a long-awaited vacation that you really need and go on a vacation, bro. You and
Yeah,
Jody, go away.
but Rich, here's the flip side. What if the United States is in it? So if the United States is in the final, it's just Americans traveling, right? It's not the Europeans come over. The Europeans
No,
like to
because
spend
there's still
cash, so-
speculation. There's still speculation of what team is going to come. You know what I mean? Like, oh, how about we say that? You know what? Then how about this? That you know what? Now you bring up a good point, but I'll counter that point. Okay, no country. When it comes to soccer, you're not getting Jet fans. You're not getting Giant fans. You're getting a country of people. They're going to want to come and stay in this area. Literally, like, all right, yeah, I know what you say. Let's just say it's the United States, which is never going to happen. Let's just say it's United States against Argentina. The entire country of Argentina is going to walk here from where, or the entire country is going to come here to see that team play. That's how popular I've come to know that soccer is. We are not into it. I like to make fun of it. It's the falling, the flops. But you know what, though? At the end of the day, it is the absolute most popular sport in the entire world. If you show somebody in Africa a baseball or a soccer ball, 99% of the time they will grab the soccer ball and they'll put a Yankee hat on and play soccer. It's like, we're dynamic, but soccer is the most, popular sport in the entire world. And that's hands down. So there's going to be many people coming here.
I'm going to give my prediction for the 1996 for the 2026 World Cup. I'm going to say it's going to be the United States versus Canada. How's that? Then people could actually walk there.
That's fine. Listen, I say, hey, you want to come rent my house? Hey, I got a pool, I got a lake around here, That's not as cold as it is up there,
How about the Bahamas versus Bermuda? There you go. That will sell out a lot.
People be clamoring to come in from the Bahamas. Bahamas is very dangerous. Very dangerous.
A lot of bad stuff going down in the Bahamas lately.
Jamaica too.
Yeah.
But you know what? How about this? We could go into. I have so much stuff I want to talk about. Like I'm crossing over with shooting the breeze.
Okay.
And
on the flip, we have the World Cup coming in 2026, but the NFL announced this week that the Philadelphia Eagles will be playing the Friday. They start the NFL season on the Thursday. The next day, the Philadelphia Eagles will be playing some team, haven't determined yet, in Brazil. So how's that going to apply? NFL.
Stop it. I'm telling the players don't want it. They can't. And again, I'm just saying, I know it's great. The kids people want to see the game of football. Football's different. Football's not baseball. Football's not basketball. Football is an entire couple of months of getting the shit beaten out of you on Sunday and then having to make up for it during the week and not having any time off. Do you think that these guys want to get on a damn plane you think the San Francisco 49ers want to get on a plane after they got the shit beat out of them by another team so they could play a game in Europe or Brazil so they could put on some pomp and circumstances? No, they could use that time to sit in a hot bath or like an ice bath. These guys they put their bodies, and I understand they make a lot of money, and I'm just combating it from the other side of the coin where they put their bodies on the line every single week for a sport, yes, that they love, and a sport that we love to watch. So I know it's a double-edged sword, but stop with the pushing these guys and making them go places. And again, I know and I'm talking to people, I know it's not a popular opinion, but just keep them here. Just, even England, keep them here. Germany, why? Germans can watch it here. I don't know, Eric, if you agree with me or not, but I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there's no plans on putting teams in these countries and stuff. Why even go over there when they can watch it on TV? It is all about the money. And the Philadelphia Eagles lose a home game, so they're going to get money because that's their home game. But how do you think the fans feel? The fans, hey, I have Eagles season tickets. Now I'm going to miss a game because they're playing a game in Brazil. Brazil's a soccer country. I don't think they care about football. But Rich, at the end of the day, they call it football because how many NFL games are won by a foot? A lot of them, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
and lost. Hello, Buffalo.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Buffalo
yeah.
5 times.
Crazy. But but it's going to be interesting to see that. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, they have these ideas, the NFL, and the NFL is worth a lot of money, and they mean business. I spoke about the term Super Bowl. If you're like a local restaurant or something like that, you're offering Super Bowl specials tomorrow, you better change it to big game specials because the NFL's watching and they want their money. And you can't blame the NFL. Disney does the same thing as well.
Well, Disney, I think Disney is really they're becoming they're one of the top 5 people that are running the world. It's ridiculous because no matter where you'll see that Disney sign, whether it's ESPN, ABC, magazines. It's like Disney is slowly, taking over the world, and I don't think it's legal, right? I mean,
you know what Disney's doing now? Here's the latest thing, and it has to do with sports. Is that ESPN platform, ESPN Plus. So what ESPN they're doing is they're going to take all these other platforms. Well, you'll see CBS Sports, NBC Sports, TNT. So it's going to be one major conglomerate where if you subscribe to ESPN Plus, you're going to have access to basically any sport on any network, basically. So kind of like a monopoly forming, right?
Yeah. But you know what, though? I see now when you put about it that way, it's kind of like, all right. I mean, because as it is, you have to get ESPN Plus, you have to get CBS, you have to get this, you have to get that. So they're having you pay for all these streaming services. But maybe they are trying to make a monopoly where one sports company takes on all the sports, one movie company takes on all the movies. But even seeing it with that, Cinemax and HBO, they have all the Paramount shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Where Disney has all like the Warner Brothers stuff and all the Disney stuff. And it's like different networks have different things. Like if I want to watch Power and Raising Kanan, I have to have Stars. Or if I want to watch some other show, I have to have Showtime. So
look at the playoff game. The Dolphins Chiefs playoff game was on Peacock. Remember that? And not too many people had Peacock and stuff. So next year they're doing the same thing, the NFL, but they're going to have it on Prime. I think more people have Prime than Peacock and stuff. But
you know what, though? We bitched about the whole Peacock thing. We bitched about that. And again, it's all relative, all relevant arguments. But we're our own worst enemy because 23 million people watched it on Peacock.
I watched it too. I got Peacock last year because MLB has a thing where they play baseball games on Sunday mornings. Like the games start 11:30. And the Yankees had a couple of those games. So kind of got Peacock. I have Paramount because Ben likes to watch soccer. So soccer's on CBS. It's on Peacock. So, I think the cable industry is going to be dead within 10, 20 years, basically.
I don't know where it's going to go. All I know is it's still going to cost us a lot of money,
No matter what, you're going to pay out of pocket. Nothing's free, Rich.
With with the Super Bowl, do you think that one day that the NFL would literally get that greedy where they would put the Super Bowl on a pay service where you have to have the Super Bowl channel to watch the Super Bowl? I mean, do you think that they would get that cocky that they would do that?
I don't think it would get to that point, but I think, like I said, in 2027, it's on Valentine's Day and it's also President's Day the next day. So I could see them doing having the Super Bowl on the Sunday before President's Day. So, the country has off on stuff, more parties, or even having the Super Bowl on Saturday night. Rich, what do you think about that? Saturday night having a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think we spoke about that before. It's like I kind of think you're going back with something like, whether it's nostalgic to have it on Super Bowl Sunday or convenient to have it on a Saturday. So, I mean, I really don't care either way. It doesn't bother me, but it's like a lot of people just say, they correlate Super Bowl Sunday with Super Bowl Sunday, not Super Bowl. Well, now it's becoming more like Super Bowl weekend, but it's kind of, I don't know. Either way, it wouldn't bother me either way, but I think you might be right. More eyes would be on it and I don't think more eyes would be on it. I think the Saturday night thing would bring more revenue into like the restaurants and the bars and stuff because more people would go out and watch it, which is fine too.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, the game on the East Coast, the game ends around 10:30 and stuff. So people have work the next day, so it's a little hard to go out. But yeah, definitely the Saturday would inject more into the restaurant industry and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember as a kid, the Super Bowl started 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So and like my cousin Joe, who lives in Michigan, was on my Facebook this morning, and he's been to a lot of Super Bowls, a lot of World Series, always gets to these events. So he was at Super Bowl in 1977. He was in the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami. Game was played in the Orange Bowl, and he bought a Super Bowl ticket for $34 to see the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. So I put on Facebook yesterday, the cheapest ticket as of yesterday was $6,000 in Las Vegas.
My wife just told me that yesterday.
Yeah, and there was tickets up with 45,000. So, Rich, do I buy the car or do I go to Super Bowl? Right? What's more important, right?
Now, you know what the thing is about these two teams is. It's really expensive to go to the Super Bowl. Now, these are two teams that are like the Chiefs. They've been there before. They won a lot of games. The 49ers, their franchise. They've been there before. They won a lot of games. Now, if you're somebody, you can't say like, I'm going to pay that $6,000 because I've never seen my team in a Super Bowl. Yeah, but you have, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I think that kind of aspect brings like, if the Detroit Lions, for instance, if they went to the Super Bowl, people would be paying top dollar coming from all over the place because they've just never seen it happen. Whereas I think, listen, it generates enough revenue anyway. I'm not saying, but the ticket pricing as it goes is like, whereas that $6,000 ticket, people can maybe second guess, but if they have the money, they'll just do it. Whereas that person that only has like, they have $7,000 for a Super Bowl weekend. They're like, damn it. It's like, they've been there already. So I may as well buy that car. But whereas you get these real hardcore fans, if I'm a Jet fan and I got $7,000 now, I have a family to think about. So, that's the dumb thing to think about. But if I'm a single guy and I got $7,000 and the Jets make it to the Super Bowl and it's 6,000, fuck it, I'll figure out how to make money out there. I'll buy the ticket and I'll go out there and see him. So I think that's the dynamic with the tickets. I don't know if you agree with me.
Well, yeah. And then there's a person who buy the ticket on their credit card and pay the $15 credit card bill for the next 700 years. So that Super Bowl ticket will be paid off in the year 3000, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Or put on layaway or something like that. But yeah, so that's interesting. But we talked about the logistics and everything. Now, what do you think about the game tomorrow, Rich? What's your take?
So we're gonna get into the game. So you're gonna let me kind of like ease into my rant about my least favorite baseball team, which is my favorite baseball team. So
do you want to touch on the Mets now, Rich? We could touch on the Mets and the Jets, your two favorites, and then we can.
We'll end our football conversation with the Jets, and now the Jets will definitely parlay into the Mets. So the game tomorrow, good. Eric. I am.
Just a side note, Rich.
Okay.
Just a side note. Thank you for doing that because I'm not quite versed in CPR. So if you're going off on the Jets and the Mets,
no one's home right now.
Cancel and say bye, Rich.
No, it's actually somebody. Aiden might be just be. He's not still sleeping. Hey, maybe he's still sleeping. Yeah, so there's nobody really home right now to survive to revive me back. But anyway, the football game tomorrow.
Put on Facebook. You're having chest pains and see who answers you and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so last week we made our predictions. Like I think I was still up in the air, and you kind of might still been up in the air too, right? Now I think that right now you're looking at a dynamic with these two football teams. Now these are two great football teams. Okay, now I heard something. I posed this question to you last week. I'm going to pose it to you again in kind of a different way because I was listening to the radio this week, and they were talking about Brock Purdy as a quarterback. Now. They were comparing Brock Purdy, obviously, to Pat Mahomes. Actually, they started comparing Brock Purdy to Pat Mahomes. And then the whole comparison thing was like, Pat Mahomes, nobody's like Pat Mahomes. Okay, so how about we compare? Would we be talking about now the game last week, Detroit against the 49ers? That was the game where we'd be talking about the quarterback and whether they're going to do a good job or whether they're going to bring their team to. So I think all this talk about Brock Purdy maybe just being a mediocre quarterback because he has such great stuff around him, I think is garbage because he still looks poised in the pocket. And he's still, and I kind of thought that he was a late bloomer, dude. And I just found out the other day he's 23 years old. Now,
oh, yeah, definitely. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You can compare him to Jared Goff, whereas Jared Goff put himself a situation in Detroit where I think, didn't he bring a team to an AFC championship or something like that? But
Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with the Rams.
Super Bowl.
He lost.
Yes, he went to yes, he did. Okay. Now, Jared Goff and Brock Purdy, to me, are two different quarterbacks because I'm not going to say he is, and I'm not going to say that he won't be, but he kind of reminds me of Joe Montana. Because if you think of Joe Montana back in the day, he didn't have that good of a season, the first season. It was okay the second season. Bill Walsh just clicked with him. You know what I mean? This guy's got Kyle Shanahan. Maybe he's clicking with him, okay? Now, you could say Brock Purdy's a product of having probably, you rattle off 5 players that those 5 players on the same team is kind of like a dream set. You know what I mean? You got Debo, you got the other wide receiver, you got McCaffrey, you got Kittle, you got 2 offensive linemen that are all world, and you put Brock Purdy on that offense, and it's like, just like the perfect storm. Whereas I don't think if you put Zach Wilson on that team, it's a perfect storm. I think there's a lot of anger. So when I compared him to, and then you think about Joe Montana as well, Joe Montana, he had Roger Craig, he had arguably the greatest football player / wide receiver ever to catch a football in Jerry Rice. He had a stud offensive line. But there was also a thing with Joe Montana where the decision-making was just spot on, and he would just make these throws. But Brock Purdy still has that time to gain that knowledge and make those quick decisions. I think there's too many people right now dismissing Brock Purdy because we see Pat Mahomes as the greatest player. Now, I think that this game is going to come down to if Brock Purdy manages the game and gets his passes off and makes his offense do the work, they could beat Pat Mahomes, because Pat Mahomes is going to have to, if his offense is struggling, he's going to have to put that team on his back. He's going to have to rely on Pacheco. He's going to have to rely on a double tight end. Let's just say Chase Young all of a sudden, like, Nick Bosa was reaming him out 2 weeks ago. What do you think now? Chase Young's like, he's having a conversation. He's like, wow, I really have been dogging it. Nick, one of the greatest players on the planet, was screaming at me on live television a couple of weeks ago, and I'm really not pulling my weight. So now you have to put it where you have Kelsey, who's basically a wide receiver. You got to put another tight end, because if Pat Mahomes is running, he's going to beat you. Your linebackers, you have to play. You have to stay for coverage. It's a real weird dynamic where you're going to have a quarterback that could beat an entire team, or you have an offense that could beat an entire team, and 2 decent defenses. Like, to you, what do you think is like the key to both of those teams winning the game? I know I just gave you a lot, Eric, but just, I've just been thinking about it all morning.
Okay, it's all about the game flow, Rich. So it's to be interesting to see how this game goes. Of course, Pat Mahomes, he can complete a pass with his eyes closed. Right?
We've seen it.
It's crazy. One thing we've seen is the reemergence of Travis Kelce. Now, Travis Kelce had a pretty bad season, came on in the end. So we see Super Bowls over the years, Rich, and we see these trick plays come into play. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if you see Travis Kelce throw a touchdown pass. I wouldn't be shocked. And you know what? The odds are out there. It's 35-1. So it's something to put money on too. But, we see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, 4 out of 5 years, Rich? The only team that was able to control the Chiefs was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they really did. They had a good game plan. I know it was the COVID year, but the NFL played the full season in the COVID year. It wasn't like baseball. It was a regular season, and even in the Super Bowl, nobody was really out. The game was played in Tampa, but that was expected to be played in Tampa. It's not the Buccaneers' fault that they were playing on their home field, but still, they only had like 25,000 people, so it wasn't the crowd. But I know the crowd's going to be in the San Francisco 49ers' favor tomorrow. It's easier to get to Las Vegas from San Francisco than it is from Kansas City. Plus, it's the 49ers' first trip there in 4 years. And the 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl since 1994 when Steve Young was their quarterback. And they beat the then San Diego Chargers. And I think the Chargers wasn't even Dan Fouts. It was Humphreys, their quarterback. So the 49er fans are hungry for a win too. It's almost 30 years since they won a Super Bowl. I think what happens tomorrow, I think the pressure gets to Brock Purdy. Now, Brock Purdy, I know he's played in playoff games. He got hurt last year in the championship game. He's got the tools to work with, but if Brock Purdy throws that interception early and the Chiefs take an early lead, it takes that one dimension out of the game. If the Chiefs get ahead by 10, 14 points, you're going to lose that Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy's going to have to throw the ball a lot. And if he keeps throwing the ball a lot, what's to say the Chiefs don't intercept and make more turnovers, basically? The Chiefs have revamped their defense, Rich. The Chiefs are much stronger. In the past, it was Tyreek Hill and Mahomes. Now it's Rice, Mahomes. You got Pacheco. You got Kelsey. It's not quite the tools that Brock Purdy has to work with. I think Brock Purdy's going to make some mistakes right out of the gate, and that's going to change the game flow of this. I'm not going to give my prediction yet, but you see where I'm going, Rich.
Oh, yeah, I do. Of course I do. I agree with you.
I think the Chiefs check all the boxes here. You check the boxes with Mahomes. You check the boxes with Andy Reid over Shanahan. Shanahan's been in the playoffs before. Shanahan hasn't won the big game yet. You check the box with Andy Reid. You check the boxes. The only box I'm not checking, Rich, is the running game. I agree that McCaffrey. Look at the MVP, Rich. Do you see the MVP voting this week? Jackson won the MVP. McCaffrey didn't even finish second. You know who finished second in the MVP, Rich? Dak Prescott finished second in the MVP vote. Do you believe that? I can't believe that.
You know why I do, Eric? Because look at the Defensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett beat out TJ Watt, dude. I mean, come on. That's just logistically it makes no sense.
But Rich, we're talking offense here. I know you always have to give it to a quarterback. Is it a prerequisite? You have to give it to a quarterback? Just have quarterback of the year and offensive player of the year. What did McCaffrey do bad this year? I know.
Nothing.
I'm not going to take it away from Jackson. Jackson had four. He had a streak of 5 weeks where he was the best player on the planet, but 5 weeks did not make a season. The season's 17 weeks now. McCaffrey scored a touchdown every week. And, even if you bet tomorrow McCaffrey scoring a touchdown, you wouldn't with the dollar on your bet, basically. It's not even worth betting on McCaffrey winning a touchdown. It's bound to happen. But, I think the Chiefs experience, Rich, and they beat the 49ers, and a lot of these players have Super Bowl experience. There's 49ers guys that have Super Bowl experience, too. They're probably on the team from 4 years ago. But I just think that the Chiefs are going to win this game, and I think the Chiefs are going to win the game big, Rich. I just don't see Brock Purdy. I think he's got to get his feet wet. He's new to the league. It's his sophomore season. I mean, God
that's
knows.
Not taking anything away from him either. I'm
not taking away from anything. He was the 7th round draft, last pick of the draft. I mean, look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady was in the 5th round pick, and look what he did. I think Pat Mahomes is comparison to Terry Bradshaw, to Troy Aikman, to Joe Montana. Even to Tom Brady. I mean, he's not quite there. Brady was the GOAT of all time. People will argue that Montana was the GOAT of all time. I think Brady was the GOAT of all time. But, I think if Mahomes wins tomorrow, he writes his name with these legends, basically. 100%. And the Chiefs have a dynasty going, no doubt about it.
Yes. And I think that when you look at the way he's been playing over the last couple of years, and he's progressively just been getting better. He won an MVP in his second year in the league. And now he's just still been progressively getting better because I really do think that that your playoff performances really has to come into play when you're playing for an MVP or you're going head up for an MVP. Because if you really want to talk about MVP, Pat Mahomes looked in Lamar Jackson's eyes and says, "Nah, I'm the MVP of this league." And I think that got to Lamar Jackson where a point says he looks at Pat Mahomes for somebody that he wants to be. Now, I mean that by saying, because I don't think if Lamar Jackson wins the MVP this year, Pat Mahomes is like, shit, maybe, I got to look at that guy. Maybe I got to change my game. No, I think even though Lamar Jackson wins the MVP, he needs to still look at Pat Mahomes and say, I am still working on my craft. And there's still things that I need to do. Yes, I got the MVP because nobody could catch me running, but nobody could catch him either. And he stops on a dime and dumps a 10-yarder or a 70-yarder. It doesn't matter, and puts it right in people's hands. This guy does stuff that nobody else on the planet does, dude. And I'm telling you, I don't care if Lamar Jackson gets that. Listen, deserving, like you said, he was the best player on the planet for a couple of weeks. Okay. Pat Mahomes has consistently been the best player in football since 2018. Okay.
Rich, you know what his record is as a quarterback? He's got 88 wins and 25 losses as a quarterback.
That's almost impossible.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And they lost to the Lions on week 1. Remember, way back in September, they lost to the Lions on that Thursday night game. And what were we all saying, Rich? Oh, Pat Mahomes sucks this year. And what does Pat Mahomes do? He gives you the royal FU when he gets back to the Super Bowl, basically, right?
No, you got it. And then we realize it. We don't sometimes. You don't sometimes. You think about our teams. We just literally think our teams are going to win every single week. We also forget to realize that we're like, oh my God, they should win this game. They're playing the so-and-so. They've only won 2 games this year. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You have to game plan. You're playing against men who don't want to lose. So I don't give a shit if that year when the Lions were 0-15 and they were just saying that they were going to be, defeated or undefeated. Those guys still went out there because they were men with pride. They didn't want to, get their pride hurt. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like these guys want to win all the time. And it's like, and it sucks. It's so easy for us to say like this one's the best or that one's the best. But look at the guy that just on a daily and yearly basis, he just progressively gets better. How does he get better? You just see little things that he did last year really good, and you don't think that he could get any better. Like Those little throws, Eric, that he's done. Like, I love Pat Mahomes, so I watch a lot of stuff that he does. Those little alley-oop hoop passes that he's been throwing to Travis Kelce, those are not lucky passes, dude. That is them messing around in the locker room with a basketball even or a football saying, put your arms out one time. I'm just going to put it right there. He did that to people for he did 10 times to defenses. They didn't even see it coming. You're like, it looks like he's just kind of falling. And he's like, oh, it's a bad pass. No, he meant to do that. And it was right in the guy's hands.
Right.
It's unbelievable the stuff he does.
And Rich, there's times where he's looking downfield and he'll just throw the ball to his left and he'll throw it to a receiver. So he's not even looking where he's throwing it. He's throwing the ball and he's completing a pass.
And he's hitting these guys 80 yards down the field at the goddamn numbers, dude. You see him like, oh, is it going to be a Hail Mary? No, there's a guy that's got one step on so-and-so, and he's got an 80-yard bomb that he drops right in his hands for a touchdown.
Yep. It's a sixth sense, basically.
Stuff that's just unbelievable to me. And anybody that hates on him, and I guess we all get caught up on the hating on the team that's doing best or whatever. You can't, because there's nothing he does wrong on the football field. They're allowed to lose a game here and there. Even if he loses the Super Bowl tomorrow, it's because the fucking defense of the 49ers got back to being the 49ers defense. And that's the only way. For the 49ers to win this football game tomorrow, they're going to, if the offense is both on hitting on both going on all circuits, it's going to be a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The defense is where this game is going to be won. If the defense could contain Mahomes and put him on a part of the field where he can't throw, then they're going to win. But if not, you have to be in pursuit of him all day. Even if he gets away, you got to knock him down. You got to pursue him. You got to put your hands up and bat the ball down. But you know what? We've seen him. You got your hands up. He has those little shuffle passes like he's throwing the ball to second place for a double play. The guy's amazing, bro. It's so hard to game plan against him. Kyle Shanahan is really good. And you're also looking at somebody on the defensive ball in the Chiefs too, where, yes, they have amazing talent on that other side of the ball, but you also have an amazing defensive mind running that defensive ball against Spagnuolo.
Yeah, and the Chiefs' defense has shut down opponents in the second half, Rich. I mean, I've seen the numbers. I mean, look, they gave it the garbage touchdown to Baltimore, which was like, Baltimore wasn't coming back. We know that. But they've been shutting them down. The over-unders, I mean, the Chiefs have been, they're like almost undefeated with the unders in the second half all season. So the defense clamps down in the second half. I think this game can go under too. I mean, we might not see the track meet that we want to see. I mean, people watch football once a year, so they want to see a lot of scoring, but it might not be the game. I mean, sometimes these teams dance in the first half. Maybe they don't even score, or maybe it's a 3-0, a 6-0, a 10-7 halftime, and then things open up and say it might not be like that this year, Rich. We might see a battle of defense. We might see running game. We might see Pacheco wanted to keep Purdy off the field, and McCaffrey wanted to keep Mahomes off the field. I mean, but look at this, Rich. If somebody like Deebo Samuel was on the Chiefs, can you imagine the Chiefs would have been double-digit favorites instead of underdogs as they are right now by 2 points to the 49ers?
Could you imagine that Can you imagine that combination?
Crazy.
Even go back to the fact, well, why did Tyreek Hill leave? Can you imagine Tyreek Hill was still there?
Oh my goodness! It would
literally be in the huddle, just going, all right, Tariq, you just go long. I'm going to put it up. Just beat the guy. Beat two guys that are covering you. It's easy.
And not only that, he hand the ball off to Tyreek Hill on the end around, and he takes it 30 yards or something like that. He's he's a dimensional player and stuff. But, we see the trick plays in the Super Bowl, Rich. Who knows? Maybe Travis Kelce gets a couple of rushes tomorrow. You don't know. Like I said, Kelce is going to throw a pass. You heard it here first. Go make some money and pay off your houses, everyone.
Sure, why not? I'll throw $5 down on it, see what happens.
But
fun on Super Bowl Sunday.
Like I said, Rich, the one thing that really this concerns me about the 49ers is that 3-game stretch with Brock Purdy had. It was against Cleveland, Minnesota, 2 road games, and then they came home against Cincinnati, 3 losses in a row, and he looked pretty crappy. And then the word came out around the NFL, is Brock Purdy for real? So the kid can win the Super Bowl tomorrow, and there'll still be questions on Brock Purdy. So, I think he's getting his feet wet and stuff, and he wins the Super Bowl tomorrow. I really think we have to put him in that status, basically, of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
He should have probably been the Super Bowl winning quarterback last year.
Yeah, he got hurt in that Philly game, and the backup got hurt, and wasn't McCaffrey the quarterback in that game in Philadelphia or something like that?
Yeah, I don't even remember. And you know what's going to drive me? It's going to drive me absolutely bonkers if the 49ers do win is Sam Darnold's going to get a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, and hey, wouldn't it be ironic tomorrow if the Chiefs are up like 48-10 and Darnold's in there running out they wouldn't get it in the Super Bowl, but yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, and they're down by like 20 points going into the fourth quarter, and Sam Darnold comes through with the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history, and the 49ers win the Super Bowl, and they're carrying Sam Darnold off the field like he just threw a 40-yard touchdown pass to somebody at USC, and he wins the Super Bowl, and that's what he's going to be known for. I would be sick to my stomach.
Yeah, imagine if Mahomes gets one of those high ankle sprains, which you've seen before in the playoffs, comes back and plays, whatever. But can you imagine in the interim of him going off the field, going in the tent, coming back to play, that Sam Darnold throws a bomb to Rice or something like that, and and the Chiefs win the game because of that or something.
Listen, I think personally, Kelsey's going to have his Kelsey game, but this kid Rice is going to have a big game tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, and Pacheco too. I think Pacheco could have 2 touchdowns as well. Like I said, the whole game plan is time management. It's keeping the other team off the field. So maybe Pacheco, he gets the yards after a run too. He just, he sometimes he'll get stopped, but he'll take another 10 yards down the field. So so Pacheco might be a factor too tomorrow, the running game.
I'm so torn with who I want to win this game because I know, and what is good is I personally think it's going to be a good football game. I'm so torn because my whole life, like I like the 49ers. And again, listen, you could say that you're rooting for a team as long as it's not your favorite team. You could be a Fugazi fan of any team. Like the Jets suck, so I could take on any team as my Fugazi fandom team. So like I said, I like the 49ers, but I like Mahomes. I could be kind of like a basketball fan now that my team sucks, So I would love it. Like I really want to see Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs win a Super Bowl tomorrow because of Pat Mahomes. And he really not that he's not ever going to be spoken into the same as Tom Brady and Joe Montana, but I want him to get all these accolades early, man. It's because you never know what happens. Like right now, I think he's one of the top 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time, just in agility and just being able to play the position. So, but then I turn around and it's like, oh my God, what if McCaffrey just says I'm just going to put it onto a different, I'm going to have a 7th gear, or a 6th gear. It's like, I'm just going to run over everybody. Or Debo says, just give me the ball and I'm just going to make it. There's so many factors on both sides of the ball there that could contribute to a win or a loss. So I think the team that has the most work tomorrow for me, is the San Francisco 49ers defensive line. They are the part of the game, of the scheme, that if that works really well, then the 49ers, I think, can win because Brock Purdy could keep up with the back and forth. But if their defensive line is not working, then you got to start rushing linebackers, and then you're rushing linebackers, and all of a sudden Travis Kelce is open, 60 yards down the field, or you're dumping the ball off to Pacheco because the linebackers are rushing the quarterback because they can't get to him. So it's all kind of it's all got to fall into place, I think, for the San Francisco 49ers defense. Because I think their offense will play well, but I think their defense has to play well in order for them to win. That's my prediction.
And then the kicking game too, Rich. Harrison Butker has been lights out. Where's the 49ers kicker? Rookie, he's been a little off lately. So, like I said before, it's football. A lot of games are won and lost by the foot. Except if you're Dan Campbell, he doesn't use the foot with Detroit. But yeah,
analytics.
Analytics. That's it. One thing about analytics, Rich. So at work this week, you have those box pools and stuff like that. So a guy says he got a 0-0. So a 0-0 means nothing today than it used to mean, because analytics, 2-point conversions, guys hitting the extra points off the post, not making them. There's a lot of weird scores of Super Bowls lately. So if you have a 0-0, I wouldn't be gloating about it or anything anymore,
Oh, yeah. Oh, with the boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't get any. I didn't get any boxes.
And then one more thing, Rich. Right now in Tokyo, Taylor Swift is on stage. The big question is, will she make it back to Las Vegas for tomorrow? And will Travis Kelce propose to her as he's winning the MVP trophy for the Super Bowl tomorrow night? The NFL wants that. The NFL wants that.
Listen, let me tell you something right now. I got to be honest with you about this right now. The whole world wants to know if she's going to make it to the game on time, or is he going to blow a kiss to her? You know who probably doesn't even care about that right now? Is the two of them. Because I got to be honest, if they're normal, if they're really, they're not normal, but I just think with the way normal people think, as two very, very successful people, okay? Taylor Swift is right now thinking about performing in front of, on top of the stadium, millions of people. Travis Kelce is getting ready for tomorrow to perform against millions of people. The fact that either one of them would have the balls to say, you better get to my event is just not, it's not in people's regular, the way they talk. If they're a normal couple, it's like, babe, I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna be shot. I'll be in Tokyo. It's not like I'm in Colorado. If I was in Colorado, I'd have a limo, bang, I'd be there. But I'm in Tokyo. It's like, wouldn't you rather I just sit there, get a pedicure, and watch you win the Super Bowl? And I guarantee those are the real conversations that are going on. Not all the speculation is if she's going to get an Uber and if she's going to fly with golden wings onto the fucking stadium. It's like, and real people talk. They had this conversation already. Just like the fact that they had the real conversation about the Grammys last week. They had the real conversation. And Travis Kelce being a guy is probably like, babe, I'm only over here waiting for the Super Bowl. I could probably get there if I need to. And she's like, listen, you're preparing for the Super Bowl. You do not have to come to the Grammys. I mean, I have 9,000 of them. I'm not like I'm getting my first Grammy, So it's like kind of like people love to speculate the conversation. If anybody thinks either one of those things, what I just told you is 100% what happened between the two of them. Although, are they going to laugh about all this speculation afterwards? Yes. But right now it's like, just come on, let me win the Super Bowl and let me perform in front of the entire country. So it's kind of like if they're normal people, nobody's balls are getting in, panties are getting an uproar if the one doesn't make their event. Did I explain that correctly? Do you think?
Yeah, but did Travis Kelce date Celine Dion? Is that why Taylor Swift just took the trophy and didn't acknowledge her on the stage at the Grammys last week? Another conspiracy going out about that. It's like, stop, people. I mean, they put these people under such microscopes and stuff because that's the way we are. We like to see. It's crazy, right?
Like I said, you know what though? She literally, I watched the Grammys. I watched her sneak, kind of like not try to sneak in, but she had a little bit of an entourage. And of course, Trevor Noah was kind of funny. He pointed it out and he's like, hey, look at Taylor Swift coming in. She could have easily been like, and get really mad, but no, she played it off, man. Yeah, I'm a little late, getting in my seat, and I think she's the biggest star in the world right now. And I know I hated on her because of all the interferences with football and this, that, and the other thing. But from a perspective of somebody watching somebody, her music, it's like, I know I, playfully like her music, but am I going to go see her in a concert? And only if I had a daughter. But she's on top of the world right now, dude. And she's handling it. She doesn't acknowledge Celine Dion because she's on stage because she's thinking about a billion other things. That's
the Super Bowl she's thinking about.
That's fine. Well, be like Miley Cyrus, dude, during the Grammys and own that shit, dude. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Oh my God. I know you're not a huge music guy, but she made the best statement ever. She owned it, bro. She got up there. She had never won a Grammy. Her song won a Grammy. She belted it out. The whole stage lit up. She's, ad-libbing while she's doing it. She throws her mic down and walks off the stage. Then comes out at the end and does a rendition of Tina Turner and then just thanks all these women in rock and roll that have never gotten there. She owned it, bro. So like I said, there's Taylor Swift and there's her. These women are stars. People watch what they're doing. They're watching all their moves. So I think this Taylor Swift chick, I think she's handling it fine, dude. I really do, because she could easily be a royal bitch, but she's got a life too, and her life is being put on hold as well because of all this. So, it's all fun and games, but these are two real people that I think that's the way they're actually handling it. All your speculation about this and that, I think that's the way it's being handled.
Okay, so 2024 football season. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Of course, Zach Wilson's starting the game for the Jets, and they look up in the box, and who's up there? Rosie O'Donnell. So Rosie O'Donnell finds out he's dating Zach Wilson, and come next February, Rich, the Jets win the Super Bowl, and Zach Wilson proposed to Rosie O'Donnell on the field. How's that? That's my pick.
Where the hell did that come from? Hey,
well, the NFL loves the celebrities, right?
Well, listen, Rosie O'Donnell. That you know why that story doesn't make sense? Because Rosie O'Donnell's a lesbian. That doesn't make any sense.
I just put it out there. I just put it out there for a laugh.
Oh, I know. Come on, can't you just go with it every once in a while? I was trying to make a big story out of it. You just go, I was just kidding. Can't you go with my silly stories every once in a while?
Go ahead, I didn't hear the story. Go ahead.
What's the matter with you? Forget it. It's done. It's done. It's done.
Which reminds me of the Kiss Cam. They showed the Kiss Cam, and it was a Vancouver Canucks hockey game, and there was two women. I guess they were in their 60s, and they're kissing. And you hear the PA announcer go, "Okay," just the way he said it. Rich was like hilarious.
Real quick. This will be a quick story because you know how I like my stories like this. Did you see Michael Bublé at the NHL All-Star game last week?
Oh, no. What
Mike,
happened?
you know who Michael Bublé is?
Yeah, singer. Yeah.
Okay. He's a staunch hockey fan.
Oh,
He was tripping his face off on mushrooms, talking about aliens on the ice and how he sees the game and everything. But it's the greatest video ever. Because like he tripped up a little bit, but now he's retracting it, and I'm so disappointed. But he didn't do anything crazy, but just admit that he was on hallucinogenics.
Oh, it's like the Joe Namath interview with Susie Colbert. I want to kiss you.
Joe Namath. You know, why you gotta bring his name up? I was in such a good mood. You gotta bring his name up. He struck again. Whatever, man.
You know, it was funny. I last Sunday there was nothing to watch on TV, so I was watching YouTube. It was Super Bowl V, so it was from Miami, and it was on NBC. Half-hour pregame show. We sure come a long way. And it was Joe Namath with Kurt Gowdy on the pregame show. And I'm looking at Joe Namath, it's like, oh, God, really?
I can't stand Joe Namath. I can't. I know I've said this high and low to all my, I'm a Jet fan. I'm no, I'm not a Joe Namath guy. I don't.
How about O.J. Simpson? O.J. Simpson. You see what happened with him?
O.J. Simpson's got cancer.
But you hear he was on there was word that got around a hospice, so he did a video on X. He's like, hospice. Wait a second, I got people coming here to celebrate the Super Bowl with me. I ain't no hospice, and he's in so. But whatever.
He's so crazy, and he's so guilty that they gave him 15 years in jail just for saying the F word at a casino and trying to shake down a guy for a trophy. And they gave him 15 years. He's the dumbest guy is he crazy like a fox? I don't know, but you got away with murdering people, and you don't get on a boat and just disappear. You have money. You have a Heisman Trophy. You were a football player. You hobnobbed with all these bigwigs, and you have money. You had sex with what's her name, Kardashian, in front of her husband. You're O.J. Simpson. Get on a banana boat and disappear in the Caribbean. No, you write a book, mapping out that you didn't do it, but if you did, this is how you would. You're in Vegas trying to get your Heisman Trophy back or something, and you're screaming and muscling some local Las Vegas tough, and he did 15 years. Go! You should have just went away. You should have. Crazy.
Well,
guy's a murderer.
Sorry to take you off the path here, Rich, but we have to make a prediction on the Super Bowl now. I don't know how we got to Joe Namath and O.J. Simpson, but Namath won a Super Bowl. O.J. didn't. So.
Joe Namath. All right, I'm making my quick decision right now. Chiefs win the Super Bowl tomorrow by Chiefs win the Super Bowl tomorrow, and they cover whatever the point spread is. They are winning the Super Bowl. They cover, and Pat Mahomes is going to get the MVP.
Yep, I'm taking the Chiefs 27-16. And once again, Pat Mahomes is winning the MVP. No surprises, right, Rich?
No. Hold on. Josh is chiming in here. I think you might want to do you want the link? Do you want the link? Yes. So I guess we're in agreement.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we agree to disagree, right? We agree.
Right, so we agree to disagree. I think. So I'm going with Pat Mahomes. I think he's going to pull it out. I think if it's a close game, I trust Pat Mahomes to score when he has to. Than the offense of the San Francisco 49ers. I think that Pat Mahomes will will his team to win.
Kermit the Frog wins again.
Yes, he does. Can I? You said you wanted to say something to me before. We're still on football for a second here about the Jets. I don't know if you wanted to. Would you want to ask me about the Jets? Because I have comments about the Jets.
Okay, so something else. Woody Johnson, pretty hands-off owner, not like Jerry Jones, right, and stuff. So
not a good owner.
Woody Johnson was in the Super Bowl this week in Las Vegas. All these parties going on, and
selling baby powder.
Woody Johnson has made some comments about the Jets. First comment was,
this is great because I haven't heard this yet. This is the first time I'm hearing.
So the first comment was that we need a backup quarterback. So Zach Wilson, bye-bye. The other comments were, I've been patient in the past, but 7 wins doesn't cut it. Basically, ultimatum is we make the playoffs in 2024 or we make changes from Douglas and Saleh. So he finally has spoken, and the pressure is on for 2024. It's basically I don't know if it's playoffs or bust, Rich, but a Super Bowl or bust, but it's definitely playoffs or bust. So if the Jets do not make the playoffs, they're back to square one again, getting a new general manager and a new coach.
This conversation is way too little, way too late for Woody Johnson to have Super Bowl week to say that my team sucks. Okay. You should have said this to your general manager in the beginning of the season. Get me a backup quarterback. You know why he says it now? Because he doesn't know football. That's why. He watched it on the field for one season because he heard that his team wasn't playing well. So wait a second. All these people are saying that we needed a backup quarterback. Wait a second. How come you didn't tell me that we needed a backup quarterback? This is all stuff he's getting in secondhand. All stuff he's getting that he should have been told 2 years ago. Okay. Now, there's something going on. There's something going on in football, in baseball, in basketball, just in sports. And there's separation happening. There's separation happening between the real ones and the fake ones. And the only reason why I say that is because that's usually how we look at people and say, if you're a real one, you're a fake one. Okay. Now, it seems to me like a lot of these coaches right now, they teeter on the real one or the fake one. Okay. Now, a lot of the good coaches right now are saying they want to be a real one. All right. So we're being a real one. So this is how it's going to be. So a lot of coaches want to be a real one, but they can't because they have no balls. Robert Saleh is not a real tough guy coach that he portrayed all through that entire Hard Knocks. He didn't say a goddamn thing. And not to mention, what makes it even worse about Robert Saleh is he waited till the end of the season to make those comments about the shit going on in the locker room where people not having each other's backs, him trying to make decisions when he got him overturned. If you really want to make a ruckus, so what? You were just trying to save your job. Bottom line. So if everything worked this year and Aaron Rodgers did not get hurt and you kind of somehow snuck into the playoffs, maybe even done really well, that conversation that you had with your brass in the beginning of the season means absolutely nothing because you had a good season as a coach, okay? This shit all came crashing down on everybody. And football, more than any sport, everything falls on the coach. It doesn't matter what it is. So he should know this. He should know this. He should know that Woody Johnson doesn't know football, okay? He should know that our GM is trying to save his job, okay? But at the end of the day, you were one guy before the season started, and then your idol went down with an Achilles injury, and he couldn't play for the rest of the season because 3 weeks ago you had a sit-down conversation with your quarterback, and he reassured you, and he patted you on your head and says, I'm Aaron Rodgers. Of course I'm going to be okay. So Robert Saleh didn't think he had to do anything offensively. He could deal with his number one defense. Now he goes down. He has nothing at the quarterback position. Now Aaron Rodgers is starting to talk about this one's talking about that one. Now, all of a sudden, he's got a headset on. And then Robert Saleh, you don't have to be a Jet fan to watch the Jet games. Know that that stare that you watched on all the highlights of just this was all game because I was a Jet game. I watched it all game. You guys, not Jet fans, saw the highlights. All I saw was this. I didn't see the guy talking about everybody being commanders and everybody going crazy and the defense kicking people's asses. And look what we got. No, I saw a timid guy who was told to shut his mouth by somebody, whether it be Woody Johnson, whether it be his brother, whether it be Joe Douglas, whether it be Joe, whatever. Yeah, I always get those guys, whether it be him, whether it be whatever. You're the coach of the football team. You're a coach of men. If you know you're going to lose your job at the team, you say this stuff in the beginning of the season. I don't want to hear from Woody Johnson right now. I want to hear how Robert Saleh really feels and if he really feels that it was his fault that the Jets played the way they did. I really want to hear that. I want to hear him stand up and say, you know what? I'm taking full blame, full responsibility for our poor performance this year. And you know what? He's not going to say that because everybody is at fault. Everybody that had a higher ranking or a higher salary than the head football coach made decisions. And when it didn't work, they blamed it on the head football coach. So I'm not hating on Robert Saleh anymore, dude. This organization, it's an organizational thing as a whole. I mean, we're going to jump right into Billy Epler in a minute too. Billy Epler is a coward. He's a coward. He's a piece of shit. That's what he is. If all this stuff is true, this separation between brass and reals and fakes is starting to spill over into all over the place. What are we talking about load management in baseball right now for, Eric? Baseball, we're talking about load management, okay? And I know I'm all over the board right now because of the fact that we were going to parlay this Jets situation into the Mets situation. And I think in football, that's what's going on. Robert Saleh, you're a pussy. And Woody Johnson, you don't know a thing about football. Leave those conversations to football people and pay the checks and pay the bills. If not, sell the football team to somebody who wants to win a Super Bowl and not sell baby powder. And all of a sudden he wakes up and has an epiphany because somebody told him that his football team sucked this year. I don't want to hear from him during Super Bowl week. You know why? Because 55 years was the last time that a green and white jersey stepped in and wore a patch that said Super Bowl. I don't want to hear from you right now. I don't. Why does ownership always get into the way of me enjoying a sports team, whether it be the ownership at the Mets or the ownership of the Jets? Now, before I get into what's going on with the Mets, Eric, would you like to comment on what I said about the Jets? I told you I was going to go crazy on the Jets, dude.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just adjusting something here.
No, man, that's all right, man.
Definitely want to talk about this because Woody Johnson, just a rich guy. He shouldn't be involved with the football team, Rich. And like I said, he's not Jerry Jones. I don't think you want a Jerry Jones type guy owning the team.
No. I don't want to stand next to my coach either.
You want somebody in the middle. Look at the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, when they were sold in '94, they were supposed to be moved to St. Louis. They were supposed to move to Toronto, St. Louis, Baltimore. There were other cities that moved in, but the Glazer family, who owns soccer teams, the Manchester United, moved in. The Glazer family has done nothing but support this team, bring in the players, bring in the coaches over the years and stuff like that. And look at that. We won 2 Super Bowls. I just don't see Woody. This is the first time I heard the guy speak in years, Woody Johnson. Right?
I would hope that. Do you think that Woody Johnson crosses in the hallway with the Maras every once? I wish the Maras owned my football team. Now, say what you want about the Giants. They're just having some in fighting or whatever. That is an organization that has run for years the right way. Years.
Rich, you got the Giants, you got the Steelers, and to some extent, you got the Detroit Lions, same ownership, but we know what happens with the Lions. But the Giants and the Steelers, two of the most. Oh, and the Chicago Bears too. They're a mess, but they had their seasons well. And the Green Bay Packers are owned by the shareholders now, whatever. But whatever. But but look at those teams, Giants and Steelers. Those are the two teams I want to bring into particular. Look at those teams, how successful they've been over the years. I mean, look at the Pittsburgh Steelers alone. What, 3 head coaches in our lifetime, Rich? I mean, what sports franchise can say that had 3 coaches in our lifetime? How many managers have the Mets had in the past 10 years?
None.
Right?
Yeah, none.
It's crazy. It just doesn't make any sense, Rich. And you have this guy running a football team because he's rich and likes to buy a toy, but this isn't the toy he should have bought. He should have bought a yacht, or he's got plenty of yachts. So I think the Jets need a complete, total, delete all reset. They need a total reset, Rich, a reboot. I think they need a new owner, and I think they need a new GM and a new coach, Rich, because you know what? I think Saleh lost all control of the team, in my opinion.
100%. We lost complete control. Control. Once Aaron Rodgers went down, he lost complete control.
But Woody Johnson
had control.
But Woody Johnson went on to say that there's so much talent on their team, and I agree with him that there is a lot of talent on this team, Rich.
We have 2 guys that could be all world at their position in. We have 3. We have Sauce Gardner, we have Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. These are 3 players that were drafted in the same season together and are going to be all pro players. I don't say Pro Bowl players because that's a farce. They're going to be all pro football players. At their position eventually.
Look at that. You got defensive back, you got running back, you got wide receiver. Those are the positions that build this team to build dynasties, to build championships.
There's no, like I said, if Woody Johnson was a football guy, which he's not, he would have immediately said, okay, fine, you're not going to get me backup quarterback. Get me somebody who can block. Get me get me somebody who can block. I've been watching you guys in practice. These guys don't know how to block. What's wrong with saying that?
Yeah. And then, Rich, then you have like an Uncle Stevie. Uncle Stevie's a baseball fan. He's a Mets fan, but he's got the money, but he spends in the wrong places. So I don't know. You need that one owner to step in that doesn't, hands off, lets the general manager run the team, and boom. I mean, Jerry Jones did win a couple Super Bowls with his puppet coaches, but it doesn't work like that. Jimmy Johnson was a puppet basically.
I really do think that's why Bill Belichick does not have a job right now. Because all those other coaches came in for an interview and they're really hungry for a job. Bill Belichick walked into the door of that Atlanta Falcons organization, walked in the door and says, guys, this is going to be a 5-minute conversation unless you tell me that I have complete control of everything. If I don't, I'm turning around and I'm walking out the door. and they probably didn't. He didn't like what they had to say. That's why he's not coaching. And I think he's had that. And he listen, he deserves to have that conversation with any owner he talks to. He can say that because he's Bill Belichick. So, and this day and age, they don't want that personality in the dugout / sideline because that causes problems with brass. If you have an outspoken Bill Parcells type of guy who's going to tell you to shove it up your ass, even though he wins 11, 12 games, eventually that's going to get hard on the ears of the brass because they don't want outspoken coaches or outspoken players to say, shove it up your ass, because then it looks bad for the brass. Now they have to do their job.
Exactly.
So you don't want a guy. That's why Bill Parcells is not. And I have a feeling, not for nothing, there was probably a phone call from Bill Parcells to Mike Vrabel saying, listen, you've more than shown yourself. Don't sell yourself short in these interviews. So you get the job that you want. Because I can't see Belichick not liking Vrabel. Vrabel played amazing for him for all those years.
Of course.
So you think maybe Belichick called him up and says, don't sell yourself short with some of these shitty offers you have out there? How about you be my offensive coordinator next year? And we go to Dallas. You know what I mean? So
I mean, look at the shitty offers that are out there, Rich. You want to take over a team that won 5 games last year, that has, no salary cap money to spend, no draft pick because you traded away 10 years. I mean, look at the Bears. The Bears control the NFL right now. They got the NFL by the nuts right now with this whole quarterback situation. I mean, the Redskins, the Commanders brought in the coach the assistant coach that Caleb Williams, played under at USC, whatever. So they're expecting Caleb Williams, but Justin Fields in Chicago. Chicago's got the number. Chicago's going to be a really good team. Chicago is running the NFL right now, basically, with this draft pick.
They are definitely. Everybody wants a bite of that draft pick, or everybody wants a bite of. I just want their quarterback.
Yeah,
I just want that kid.
I don't know why they do. I love Justin Fields. I don't know why he's worn out his welcome in Chicago. He's a great quarterback.
Yeah. I don't know. I know is the Jets.
Rich, if you keep Justin Fields, if you keep the number 1 draft pick and draft Marvin Harrison Jr., look at that. He's got another guy to throw to besides Moore.
Right. Do you value Marvin Harrison Jr. over, say, Caleb Williams, as opposed to, or do you think Caleb Williams is going to be better than Justin Fields?
That's the thing. I think Justin Fields has proven himself, hasn't he? I mean, right? I mean,
I think maybe he was just pissed off.
Yeah.
I mean, look what CeeDee Lamb said a couple of weeks ago. He was calling his entire coaching staff out in front of everybody.
Yep.
That video obviously stopped. It didn't go anywhere. But people who did see that video, he's complaining about people throwing games.
Yep, exactly.
He's complaining about putting the wrong people in the wrong situations, and that's why they're losing. So he's complaining about not blatant cheating, but not putting the right people in the right position to win football games. That's what he's complaining about. And listen, I don't think that there's outright, throwing football games maybe, but when you don't put it, especially in football, if you don't put the right people at the right position, you're going to fail. So there might be some legs to what maybe Justin Fields is pissed about something like that too. Maybe, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Could be. Yeah. So this Jets story came out the other day. The Mets story coming out too, we'll talk about. But when you were going off in your Jets rant, I just came back up to my living room. So you see my 80-inch TV right over here, Rich, the 80-inch TV, getting ready for tomorrow. And Ben should be coming home soon. So maybe he'll make an appearance walking through the living room over here. So.
Right. We'll talk about baseball for a couple minutes. Maybe we'll cut it short in a couple minutes anyway. We got
we're going up on hour and 45 minutes already. So we've been, I always tell you, Rich, I'll give you a half hour, and it always turns into 2.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I just want, I think I kind of what I do want to discuss with you, if anything, which is the last thing we do, is I was flabbergasted this morning when I heard on the radio that Billy Epler was faking injuries, and there was people faking documents to prove it. Now, that to me is just unfathomable, because now I watched my product that I was so disappointed. And I just remember Aiden saying, why is this guy playing over here? And this guy's injured. And why is he not doing this? And what's going on? And I was just like, we talk and like, these guys, they're baseball guys. They know. How about the fact that you're going on things like Brandon Nimmo going 3 for 4 or 4 for 4 in a game statistically goes 0 for 4 the next day. So he has 2 triples and a double. He goes 3 for 4, and you sit him the next day because statistically, analytically, he's not going to have a good game. Now, Billy Epler was faking documents and telling players that this player is injured, so this person has to play. So I like the little Jets thing.
Marty Lyons autograph. Marty Lyons. Look at that, Rich.
Nice. He was a good Jet, man. He was definitely a good Jet.
More stuff in Ben's room.
But the point I'm making here is because this is really, really bothering me. It's like there was doctors involved. There was people signing documents involved and the players were forced to probably just say, oh yeah, I guess my wrist does hurt a little bit, or I guess my knee does hurt a little bit. But that is just unfathomably wrong, because you're pushing an agenda of a team, and you're people maybe aren't listening to the way you want them to. So you're going to have to fake an injury of a player to sit them because you want your person to play. And Buck Showalter saying on the radio the other day that he has had conversations and discussions about load management for baseball players, him being told that a certain player needs a rest because he's played 5 days in a row. And he says, so, you know how Buck talks, like he was on the Fan the other day. So he's like, so you're telling me, I guess, that he can't play second today? Like, not like mad, but like he's saying that these players need load management. They need a break today. But we're on a 5-game winning streak. This is stuff that's going on. And again, Buck being a good manager, and Buck being a proven manager throughout his years, and Buck being the same guy that walked into that Mets locker room, saw what was going on, and said, Jesus Christ, I am too old for this shit, man. You know what? I'm just going to sit. I'm going to crack some jokes when they call me on the Fan. I'm going to, because if you think about his press conferences pre-101 game season and now, he's more like a joking way he talks. He's just probably, you know what? I am too old to fight the beast on this, and let these suits ruin this baseball team, and let's just see what happens. And the players pretty much just had to go. Like, what's all this thing with Pete Alonso getting traded now? Is he getting traded? Is he not getting traded? He's a good baseball player, not a great baseball player. He's this, he's that. Pete's good for the fans. That's what they're saying. I mean, Pete, I don't know. Listen, I'll go to the games, but people go to Citi Field that wouldn't normally go just to see if Pete Alonso is going to hit a home run. I'm not saying he's Aaron Judge. I'm not saying he's that guy. But from a Mets perspective, he's that guy that, let's go check in on the Mets again, because
he's the face of the franchise, Rich, basically.
He's not on that team. I'm not going to watch Jeff McNeil hit a double.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. I'm not going to watch. Well, I am, but most people won't. I'm not going to watch Francisco Lindor make an amazing double play. No.
So I just want to take a step back, Rich, from that. You said load management. Load management in baseball is a designated hitter. You DH that day, right?
You're absolutely right.
And
you're absolutely right. That doesn't happen.
Right? And,
you're right.
Baseball different than everything. You can't be. There's no. Basketball doesn't have a DH. Football. Baseball is the only sport where you can play that half day and come out with a bat and hit a home run.
Isn't it amazing when you hear that the DH has a day off because he needs load management? When you hear the DH needs a day off,
that's like, can you imagine Nelson Cruz? He needs a day off because he's the DH. I mean, I
always pick him up on my fantasy team. He does get days off, dude.
Though, Rich, honestly, though, if a guy plays 5 days a week on AstroTurf in 90-degree weather, so he plays the sixth day at the DH, right? What's the big deal? So I think what Epler did, it's almost criminal, because
it is criminal.
You fans paying money to go to the games, and he's resting these players. It's almost a crime. And Uncle Stevie should have a full investigation on this. Epler should go to jail, basically, because this is the money. This is the business.
They said that Epler resigned the day he found out on October 5th that that MLB was opening up an investigation to him doing that.
But Rich, it's a business. It's a business. Right. He ruined the business. It's worse than insider trading.
You know what? My brain doesn't think that way, but you're like, what goes on in the world with money. You're absolutely right, dude. Rich, you were making my product. My product was not performing because of your performance.
Yeah. Uncle Stevie hired him. Uncle Stevie has the team. The goal for the team is to make the World Series. But if this guy's saying, this one has a knee injury, this one's sitting out, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a reason why the Mets won 80 games or finished 10 games under 500, basically, with the payroll they had. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And now, and I was screaming and yelling about the players not playing, the players. But I guess the players at some point, their hands are tied, I guess, because when you have a battle going on upstairs, and only a couple of people are let in on the secret to what's going on. And then that's when you get infighting, and that's when you get this one doesn't want to play with this one because maybe he knows something that I know, or people are talking shit behind each other's backs, like the guy in the suits telling Pete Alonso that everybody thinks he's the shit. So it's like, what do you mean? I don't know, Pete. People are talking about you. They're saying that the way you walk around and you're too confident, and I don't know. I heard, Francisco Lindor was talking shit about you, Jeff. It's like, I don't know. It's like that kind of baby shit happens once you allow beta males into that.
How do you attract free agents? How do you make a team like that? People aren't going to come.
No one's coming here.
And you know what? It can drive the franchise maybe another decade of mediocrity because of this.
Yep. And just as no one's coming to the Mets, no one's going to want to come to the Jets either after all this turmoil, all this infighting that's going on. You think somebody's going to want to come here next year, even if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback? You know what I mean?
You know what, Rich?
What do you think about this? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers being like the guy? I heard Aaron Rodgers on Rogan the other day. He was amazing. Didn't really talk much about football, but he was amazing. But what do you think Aaron Rodgers is probably like, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and just kind of like let things out here and there. And I'm going to talk about this. And he just sits back and laughs about it because that's who he is. I don't know, man. That'd be kind of funny, actually.
You know what,
no one's coming here, though, because of that infighting. No one is.
New York sports are in shambles all over.
They are.
New York sports are in, and we've gone through this a whole decade already, Rich. We look at this. We speak about these other cities. Boston, every team won a championship in Boston. Well, I'm not saying all 9 teams should win in New York, but look, the Knicks, the Rangers have gone a while. The Yankees. I mean, the Giants were the last team to win a champ besides the soccer team in the MLS. Whatever the New York team won a championship. They have a banner in Yankee Stadium. But look at the big 4 teams, Rich. We haven't won a championship in how long in New York, metro area?
Yeah. Right? Long time. 09 Yankees, right? 09?
Yeah. Well, the Giants were the last team. The Patriots, that was it.
I know.
Crazy. I don't know.
Dude.
I don't know.
Well,
we had fun talking about it, but you know what? In all seriousness, one team, Kansas City or San Francisco, is going to have a big parade on Tuesday. So
yeah, exactly. And no matter what happens tomorrow, whether they win or lose, Jason Kelsey will be smashing beers on his head while he's watching the game.
I was going to ask you the over/under on that, Rich. The over/under on Jason Kelsey beers.
Dude, I love him, dude. He's so entertaining, dude. He really is. He's so entertaining. They were saying the other day. They were saying the other day.
Retired yet?
No, but you know what though? A boomer brought up a really good point about him the other day about why he thinks he's retiring. Because he's really doing a lot of stuff with his podcast. And there's certain people that you can't have contact with. You're still a player. And I forgot who he said it was, but there's been a couple of people on Jason Kelsey's podcast that he could get in trouble. If he's a player, he could get in trouble to talking on a podcast with.
Oh, yeah. The NFL
kind of a weird dynamic, but like that's why he thinks that
it's probably the union. The union says that.
Yes,
But I was saying, though, I guess he doesn't want to go to Brazil either. Maybe that's why he's retiring. He doesn't want to play that Friday game in Brazil.
You know what, though? I got to start listening to that podcast, man. He makes me laugh, dude. I don't know. He's just like that big, doofy guy from big college bearded guy pounding beers. And it's like, but he's like
off the balconies, right? I bet he jumped off a balcony in the pool.
Yeah, man. But he doesn't do anything on purpose. He's just a big guy. He breaks things because he's too rough with them. He just looks like he's probably a super nice dude, man. You know what I mean? He's probably a super nice guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's good luck to him, man. Because apparently he hates his quarterback. So he probably doesn't want to come back either. He must hate his quarterback. You got to hate Justin, whatever his name is. The guy's name
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. You got to hate that guy. He's a pansy ass. Whatever. His whole offensive line can't stand him.
He's a pain in the ass, but he uses Kelsey's ass to get in the end zone, right? The butt. Right?
What if that could start a whole new conspiracy theory? What if he stuck his finger up there and Jason Kelsey was like, "Yo, bro, what are you doing? I don't go that way." He's like, and he did it again and again. He's like, "Listen, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna get sacked 7 times a game." Did it again?
No, Jalen Hurts wants to be a proctologist or urologist, wherologist. So,
well, on that note, anything else you want to cover? We got a couple minutes left. Anything else you want to cover?
Rich, I think this was a fantastic show. I think we're both morning guys, so the mornings where we give our best shot, I guess, rather than the evenings.
I think that's what we got to start shooting for. We've got to start shooting for mornings, either Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing, Rich. Our friend Peter over at Video Ventures wants to do a relationship where we do a baseball game of the week from Fishkill Little League on Saturday mornings. We got to look into it. I think that's a great idea to do that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely do. I'd love to get involved with that. I mean, I know it's kind of a separate entity from Fishkill Little League and whatever Peter's doing, but yeah, 100%. I would love to do that. the contact, people from Fishkill Little League, and see, I would love to do that, dude. Said they have all the Wi-Fi and everything ready to go.
Yep.
So, I mean, like I said, I was just down there at Fishkill Little League this morning, man. I want that place packed again, dude. I really do. I want I want these kids playing baseball at Fishkill Little League again. I know they're playing baseball, but like when we were there, dude, it was just like every night it was packed. Like, it was like the snack stand was packed and everybody was having fun. I drive by there sometimes now, and it's like there's one game going on one field. There was like 3 games going on at once, like all day long on a Saturday. Let's just get Fishkill Little League back to that, man.
You got to improve the concession stand. You got to improve the concession stand.
Well, yeah. But you know what? That's the thing, though. You got to get people to come and volunteer, too, because it's,
Well, I got one person to run the concession stand, your boy Jack. He can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack would love. I should bring that up to him now.
Hey, Rich, I'll stop by Fishkill Little League. He can whip me up a steak, side of garlic mashed, and some string beans on the side, please.
Eric, you would probably be the greatest steak you ever had, dude. If you got him a steak, a steak that you want, and you had him cook it for you, actually, he cooked a T-bone for me and Aiden a couple of weeks ago. It was amazing. Actually,
before we go, did you see that what I bought last week? I bought one of those cast iron pans, and boy, did I make a steak in that thing! Oh my God, the crust on the side.
Yeah, we got him the 3 sizes. We got him the 3 sizes: the big one, the small one, and
I got the 12-inch one. And I whipped up a dinner last week, and woof. And then Sunday there was no football on, so I got an idea to do another dinner. So I made spicy shrimp on Sunday and steaks on Saturday. So today we're ordering in, Rich, because if Ben comes home, I'm not cooking for 3. Okay.
Yeah, on that. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty hungry myself, actually. All right, dude. So listen, enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow.
Yeah, you too. I think it was a great show, and we're both picking Kansas City. Everyone enjoy the games. Don't eat too much, and remember, snow coming on Tuesday.
Absolutely, brother. All right, it was a great show. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you guys, and thanks for following us. Like I said, you see our new logo. Go to our YouTube channel. This is where everything's going to be now, guys, on our YouTube channel. YouTube Live. It's Keep Talking 365 at YouTube. It's the home of the Murf and Edubbs show and Shooting the Breeze, guys. Shooting the Breeze is coming in the next couple of days too. So, all righty. Enjoy the games tomorrow. We'll talk to you later, guys, and thanks for the support.
Rich, you too. Take care, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely.